When I see this, though, I think that I have consumed like absinthe or something, and I'm like having some kind of like trip. Right?
This
Maybe I
is
did some mushrooms. Maybe there's some real psychedelic going on. I've been laying there. I've just been like staring at a logo of Navi Nation, just chanting it, saying Simple's name like over and over as I'm doing ayahuasca in some fucking forest. And then this team pops into my head.
Finally, I found what I was looking for. Now that my search is over, it's gonna be a tough choice. But fortunately, no need to choose. When you can just have them all. Buy and sell skins on BitSkins.com.
Best esports odds. VIP program and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO match and tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
It's a good vibe, it's a good vibe, it's a good vibe, good vibe.
We're live. Fucking hell. Dimitri didn't count us in there at all. Just that we're live. Jesus, that was shocking to my system.
700 episodes of the same
Normally I listen to
fucking
Lucas.
old fucking intro with
Damn.
Simple from, 7 eras ago. Like people see it, can't even recognize him anymore. He's like aged half of his life has passed since that's picture.
I just feel like a deer in the headlights. I don't have the preview as we're going. It's over here. I'd have to look over here to see it. So Dimitri just goes, we're live. And I was like, fucking hell. But we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Counter-Strike fans across the globe, welcome back to another episode of HLTV Confirmed, brought to you in conjunction by wonderful, wonderful sponsors. So we'll get them at the top of the show. BitSkins, you want to get yourself a Dragon Law? I'm sure they've got one. Steel Series, mouse pads, mice, keyboards, headset. They've got all the good stuff. And away you go. Well, finally, 22Bet. Remember to gamble responsibly. Tonight on the show, we've got Prof. He's going to be the right-hand man striker. He couldn't make it. He's going to be fined $100,000, I do believe. Prof, you're going to be the one taking that 100 grand.
Yes, I will. And I will put it all on red.
Okay, all on red. 100 grand on red. Sticking with the good stuff. Now, producing tonight will be Dimitri and not Lucas. So be gentle with Dimitri. He doesn't do this all the time. We'll see how we go. Normally, we have no dramas. And, replacing striker, Counter-Strike pundit, well-known around the Counter-Strike world, we have Daniel Jackson, live from the west coast of England. Daniel Jackson, thank you for joining us. I know that you're a busy man in the Counter-Strike landscape, joining us this evening to fill the shoes of striker. How do you feel about it?
I'm feeling good. Thank you.
Okay, and our guest tonight is none other than flameZ. He's been talk of the town. He's hot to trot. And recently just joined Vitality, one of the biggest conversations of the player break thus far. flameZ. People keep asking, and we've had this conversation before. They want to know how to say your name correctly. And I've told him you said you don't care. Do you still not care?
No, I do care. I do care.
You care now.
Yeah. But
He changed his mind.
that's the thing. I told you this in I Am Fall, I think it was.
Yeah.
When I play good, I'm flameZ. When I don't play good, I'm flameZ. But the original name is flameZ. The original name, back in Israel when I started playing, it was flameZ.
How do we know? What if you get one kill on the pistol, you're just flameZ?
Yeah.
You got an ace, you're flameZ.
Like, yeah. When I play good, man, you were playing before, when I play a live game, right?
I have to sense.
Yeah, you have to sense when I play good. When I feel the game, then you call me flameZ.
Okay, all right. So we can chop and change, and I guess it could be subjective, Prof. It could be our opinion. Is he playing well? He has a couple kills, but he's had a couple bad deaths. So I think we get to decide as the viewer at home. Prof, how do you feel about that naming I guess regime.
It's definitely out there. I would say it's out
different.
there. It's definitely pushing the boundaries. It's adding something new, a bit of spice, a bit of fire to the analysis, to the commentary, to the punditry that we're doing right here. So I appreciate it for that side, and of course, then we'll see how it develops. Maybe it backfires.
Yeah, and it might develop more over the years. Maybe you'll have a couple of other, like people in chat saying flameZ, right? That's
Flame
that, you know.
Oh yeah,
we
they type it a lot. Yeah.
What's
Actually,
A lot or not that a lot depends
Or
on
maybe
which area
not.
we're talking about.
no. When I play good, like when I do a highlight, they usually type flame and then easy with big caps. But
Yep.
but I only see it on Twitch chat. I don't think you can even chant it like in a arena. But
I don't think
haven't
so
played in
either.
arena for
It's
so
not
long.
really rolling off the tongue. It's not really rolling off the tongue, I think.
flame
All right.
easy. Yeah, no chance.
Well, let's get into the hot seat, shall we? Dimitri, roll the bumper, and then we can get chit chatting. All right, we're back, and we're working on a counter here together. We're getting it done. Dimitri evolving, me too. All right, so the hot seat tonight, we got Flames or flameZ. I'll let you guys decide if he's doing a good job at the interview or not. So the people in chat, you guys can work it out. But we're whacking you on the hot seat for this evening. We're going to have a conversation with you about, well, recent events, and obviously the biggest being you joining Vitality. But I don't think we'll start there. I think we'll just do a quick little summary, right? You played in the local scene of Israel. You go to Endpoint. You won a little Mighty Max's men. You graduate to OFG. You're there for almost 2 years. Then there's this team called Vitality. They win the last major. They go, hey, why don't we have a roster change? This kid, he's free, and we know he's pretty good. And Spinks is like, yeah, I used to play with him once upon a time. And then now you're part of Vitality as one of the hottest signings of the entire break. You're 20 years of age. You're a lovely personality. We love to have you on the show here and get to talk to you. And we're gonna dig into things. Now, Prof's the man that writes the run of show, as it were, or the questions. So I would imagine, Prof, when you're doing this, you have an idea of where you want the conversation to go and how you want it to flow.
Well, you can
imagine.
imagine that. You can imagine that.
So where would you start?
You're free to
Because you've
use your
written here,
imagination.
last year with OG. Now, for me, Prof, I'd read this and I'd go, that's a bloody tumultuous time.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of where I saw this conversation evolving from, right? Because in the end, you did leave OG. You decided not to extend your contract. So I think where we need to start is like what led towards that decision and kind of what was the team like? Because from the outside, we saw obviously Nexa. I think the first change was like the Dexter Mantu thing, and then it was like, oh, maybe some good results for a bit, and then eventually Nexa leaves. There's a bunch of just like kind of false starts for OG, and the whole of this year just felt like kind of like a placeholder. So am I kind of on the track, or how did you feel about the last year?
Oh, he's muted. Oh dear. Well, do you wanna? We can talk for him while he fixes this. Yeah, guys. Look, it was rough. There was so many different stand-ins. Like, next didn't want to in-game lead anymore, and then we had to bring Nico in to do it. And I was like, well, fuck, this guy hasn't played it sometime. He's not even a fucking in-game leader, and he's obviously Danish and everything like that. So it was always going to be hard.
Look, I'm not gonna blame any headset, but like Steel Series, our sponsor, great, very very dependable, and never happened to me when I was using this.
How did it happen? Do you reckon he was going so well? We were smashing it. We
Maybe
played
on
a
the
bumper.
clicker. Is that a cable? Just like a wild cable coming in.
It could be. Look at this. We get to see like him just like wildly trying to fix stuff. We'll let you know when we can hear. But this is like a race against time because this whole segment is dedicated to him, right? And asking him questions. So we are floundering right now.
I hope his start to Vitality isn't like this. I think this is a horrible start. This is an absolute blunder.
No, but it is fun. He's setting a good mood. He's definitely creating. Yeah, we can hear. Oh yes,
I'm with the shit mic now, so.
You're on the webcam mic or something.
No. Wait 1 second.
I think we hear you fine.
That sounds good. Yeah, hopefully.
You sound pretty good to me.
Yeah, I'm with the.
What happened, bro? What happened?
Yeah, I have an issue in my sound card in my PC. It doesn't work when I plug in the actual like an external sound card. It just doesn't work. The microphone just mutes itself. So I'm using now. I don't know how to call it in English. AUX cable.
Okay. Yeah, all
yeah.
right. We're doing a vintage, mate. You're
so
going old school.
Good luck. I think if I scream, my mic is gonna like get fucked up. But
that's a good warning for everybody, though. At least everybody is aware that there could be audio issues coming further. But do you remember the question that Prof asked?
Yeah, I just need the last few words and I'm good.
Yeah, I think essentially just the last year in OG.
Oh,
How
okay,
did
yeah.
you feel it went?
2023 was disaster. 2022 was like I had
Tell us
this
what you
year.
really feel, mate.
Yeah, that year, man, was. But overall, I think 2022 when degster came in and we had like Neofrog Fico. I think we made like semi-final run in all the blast tournaments, in like the spring final and another one I don't remember, world final.
Yeah.
I think it was pretty good. I was convinced that we can like improve on a lot of things still, and we can still find ourselves like sort of what works for us very well. And like right before the player break, before Christmas, it was I think Blast World Final. We make semi-final. We work with a psychologist. Everybody's working very hard, and I think we sort of find like a rhythm that we can stick to, and we can go off it and start playing very good CS. Then I think 2023 we start out. I think Katowice and Blast was like we were very close to get the playoffs, and on Blast we were very close to qualify to Washington, but like obviously Katowice I was sick, so it was like the tournament that we just threw out of the window. We don't really care about it. Could have been better, but I think right after there we have like 2 days before the RMR. Nexa goes on leave. We take in Nico from like eternal bench and like free agency, and I'm like, man, but I love Nico, so I'm like convinced. I'm very happy with this decision, and then it starts off, but it was so shaky. It didn't feel stable at all. Pro League was just a shit show for us. Like this year, like I'm very happy we made a major. Like that's something that I was like I was very excited and happy, and that was my motivation after seeing all the roster changes. And then I think right now at this point I'm thinking to myself that 2023 was like a disaster, but we sort of made it not so bad because we qualified for the major in these circumstances, but we just didn't perform. We didn't do anything that excites a player to do, like get semi-final, get like playoff runs, play in front of a stage. We didn't do anything of that, so that was a little shaky. I wasn't so happy with how it ended in like how we performed in the end. I think I am Rio and I am what was it like Dallas. I think we could have had like a playoff runs, but it was also like we choked out the games that were important, but we didn't have like so many things to play with, and it wasn't stable at all. So in the end, I think everybody felt that it was just like bad. Like a lot of players felt burnout. It wasn't just fun to play as it was before in the other part of the year in 2022. So I think overall 2023, the last part of OG wasn't so not full of good memories for me.
There's some key personnel changes here, right? So like you lose your in-game leader and you lose Morpa towards the very end here with degster being out of an event, but like those are key pieces to be losing throughout this like journey. Now, Prof, is there any way you want to leapfrog off this with OG especially? Because there's a lot of places I could go from here.
You can do it if you have an idea.
Well, yeah, because like I look at this, Endpoint was your team before this, so OG was your first like big team, a partner team for the Blast event. Was it what you expected it to be, right? Because you're 20 years young, right? When you came into this 2 years ago, were you 18 at the time, or you still were a young lad at the time when you first came into OG?
I came to 17 years old. Yeah.
So when you joined the team and everything that you've experienced over the period of time, the almost 2 years in OG, was it what you expected? Was it better than you expected? Like how was the
I think at the start at the start it was so nice. Like we were playing, it was online tournaments, so we made like finals in IM Summer. We lose against Gambit. Back then they're like insane, nobody can beat them. Then we go playoffs in ESL Pro League, and then Lance come back, and Lance was like at the start it was very rough for us as a team and for me individually as well. And then I sort of like got the hang of it. Like in Endpoint it was just a lot of tournaments. You play like maybe 21 tournaments per year or something, and you play officials non-stop every day, maybe 2 best of 3s, 1 best of 3. And then I came to OG, and at the start online wise we played just many tournaments because there was nothing to do, and we performed very well as well. But then when LAN came, I didn't think it was what I expected. I thought that tier 1 players, like they're ready to grind CSGO and they're ready to like stick to 25 tournament, like zero fucks given. You just play because there is not so much pressure on you. I feel like when you play those like play-ins on Cologne, like this kind of stuff, it's not like a huge thing to play that stacks pressure on you. And then back then I thought to myself, until like 2022 April, I thought to myself that tier 1 was very different from what I thought in terms of like how the players operate in, or like at least how OG was back then, that we just didn't participate in any tournaments. We just show up in the big ones, the partnered ones, you know, the IEMs and stuff like that. And I expected more of like, you know, just play whatever we can, get in form, go play those big tournaments like you know, like how last major was with Apex, Monte, Nine, all of these teams. They come in and they have 500, like 200 officials in a year, and they come up against a team with 40 officials. Of course, they're going to be way prepared. They're, like, it's the best practice you can wish for, to play officials at this amount of numbers.
Okay. Was one of the reasons that you were looking to depart OG, like I mentioned it before, but you lost a couple of key pieces. I know Nex is back now, but he was gone for a significant amount of time, and then like the lack of buying power as well at OG, because we know in the past when there was the rebuild before that they were looking at some bigger names. Like JKS was rumored in the past to be. This is before the Fiku
before
Neofrag.
Fiku Neofrag, after Balda and Nico left,
And then like OG, look at now who they're rumored to potentially be getting, like Fasher and Keto. Like they're also not necessarily like the biggest and like strongest signings, right? So was that like a reason with OG that you didn't see a future there anymore?
I wasn't part of this decision, sort of. I was like gone before that. I also thought they're going to go. I saw rumors like JL and Cypher and these kind of players, and I thought maybe that's where they go, but I wasn't part of that direction. I think it was just. I think my ambitions were to try to have, like, what I want in CS is to have to pick trophies up and try to achieve an era with a team and legacy and be the best I can. And I think with OG, you know, for many reasons, I don't think it's gonna be so possible, or like very like possible as I see like Vitality for a fit, let's say. So it was just, you know, I didn't even sort of hear the players out. I think I talked with I talked with the coach. I heard his plans, but I told him that, you know, there are some offers that if they're gonna come, I'm gonna go play for them. So if
some of them are no-brainers, right? Liquid,
some of
Vitality,
them,
like it's like a no-brainer. Of course, you're gonna take those.
So I just told him beforehand, like in Dallas, look. So if some of these offer comes, I'm just gonna explore them deeper than usual, and then for all the other offers that I had, it was just more like, you know, let's see who are the players in the team. What can the org, like, what is the org ambitions? Like, do they want to win trophies, or they just want to qualify for 2 majors a year and relax with the sticker money? And then I sort of saw what I could, but I also had in mind that I really want to play with an Israeli player. So Mouse Sports, possibly ENCE or Vitality.
Okay. I didn't expect that maybe to be like a motivator. Why was that a motivating factor for you?
Which one?
The Israeli players.
Israeli, because I just, like, we're all very good friends. You have to understand it. We all see each other like once or 2 times per month. We go barbecue in Spink's house. We talk with his mom, his father about everything. We meet his sister. Like, you know, it's just completely chill. And I wanted to, and we all know each other very well, and we're good friends. So, and I think they're all very good. I think Spinks, NertZ, and Xertions are, like, they're very good friends of mine, but they're also very good players. They're not like, so I just, the motivation was to succeed with another Israeli guy, you know, reunite, speak some of my language, you know, some Hebrew in the free time, fly from the airport with him, and like I think this is very valuable for me to have like a few people in the team that I'm very connected to.
Yeah. Does it also culturally, does it add something to the team? Because obviously it is different. I know you're specific about what you eat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You got bullied in OG for that.
With some of them, no, because I eat like a absolute, like I eat like a monkey, man. I don't know how to eat food. but like,
what do you mean?
Like, if you see me, I have some pictures on my phone, but I'm not sure I can show. Like, I'm not sure you'll see them. But I eat a lot of stuff. Like, okay, first of all, I eat kosher food. But the second thing is that a lot of the times I eat with my hands. This is how it's easier for me. It fits me the most. And when you come to a team with 27-year-old Valde back then, or 26 or something, and he's like, you know, official Rolex out in the back, you know, and he sees some guy eats pizza and takes the cheese off and then puts it, like, rolls it up and puts it in his mouth. He's like, man, you need to learn like how to eat in a restaurant. and then slowly No, but I think it was more like, for your question, Prof, it was more like in the culture, like in the Jewish culture, it's like how I was raised at this. You're very social with people, and I think with European players, some of them are less social than what I know in like NertZ or like the rest of the Israeli scene, and it just fits me more when people are able to like express their emotions, or like, I have a problem, let's sort it out, and I just know they will give me that. And if you have one guy in the team like that, it helps a lot, or helps me in the like a lot to make the team environment better, to play better. So that was like the motivation that was there. But I think it was just how the people are, like how the CS Israeli player are in what I know of them, at least.
Okay. All right. Well, we look at you entering like this off season, right? And it was Dallas, I think, where people were starting to talk about the fact that you didn't have a renewed contract with OG. You're essentially on the market from that point, like going forward from the end of Dallas. But you go into the break, and the rumors are that you already have like a lot of offers from like big names. And you're one of the hottest, prospects out there on the market at the time. Like, people are saying it's a no-brainer to pick you up. The fact you're free, you're an upgrade to a lot of players. Like, it must have felt like you were on top of the world, right? Going into the transfer window, you had your pick of the litter of teams of where you wanted to go. So how was that whole process?
It was. I was talking with my agent Jerome, and I was, man, like, there's like a little headache to it, but obviously there was some offers that I didn't really look into because some offers were just like way better. And when I say way better, like every aspect of the other organization is better. Like, what they can offer you, the players in the team, the partnerships they have with ESL and Blast. So some offers I kind of like, I think it was like just, like happily replying no to them. And then I moved on and started hearing a lot more of the teams and projects. Like, I think I gave it some time, but it wasn't, I think the benefit of having the like Jerome by my side is that I didn't have to do anything, basically. I just, I played Dallas back then, I think, and he sorted everything out for me. He knows what I want, like in terms of like what players I look to play with, who fits me more, and I think it was just, it felt like, I was very happy that people seek out and think like that I'm good, like the orgs and the players in other teams. But it was also, let me worry about the game first. I'm Dallas. These kind of tournaments, throw them out the way and try to achieve like playoffs and deep runs, and let Jerome take care of business, basically.
So it sounds like it's been quite a good experience for you.
I enjoyed the start, at least. At the end, it wasn't so. It wasn't. In the end of the, like, before signing with Vitality, I think it was like a little more headache, because you have to, like, the things, they get more tight. When you speak to an organization, it's 9 times more serious than the first meeting. But I think obviously, like, it wasn't such a headache. Like, I didn't feel like I'm dying in pressure or work. I just said, like, I want to pick trophies. I'm gonna go to the team that I think I have the best chance in lifting some trophies. The people that I'm gonna like the most, and they're gonna fit my personality the most, and that was basically it.
Okay. Did you talk to NertZ after you saw his tweet regarding the whole situation? Because I saw you reply to it. Did you ever talk to him about it?
I think, yeah. The same day we played Rocket League, like 20 matches, man. The same day, like, I said, but I think his argument was pretty much fair. Like, they're the best team in the world. Why take the risk? So I didn't have anything personal against him. I talked with him on TeamSpeak, and he said that, obviously, it's very, like, it's odd, but if the roster works out, it's a very threatening roster. So I sort of heard his opinion about how it looks like, but his argument was mostly that, it's a dangerous move, which everybody knows. And then I basically, I didn't even give him the argument. People I think Maniac was what the one writing to him a lot, but we have nothing like personal against each other. First of all, bro, everybody messaged me, do you have beef with NertZ? Has anything happened? And 2 days after, we're in barbecue in some house, man, chilling, talking with each other. I don't think that there is nothing. I think his argument was fair, so I didn't take it in so deeply, and we're just like normal friends.
Did he know at the time what was happening? Did he know that you were gonna?
No, nobody
knew.
Like, only my brother knew. Only my big brother.
Okay. So if we need leaks from Above Flames, you know who to hit up.
Well, he kept it secret. He didn't tell anybody else, did he? Well,
I pay-
actually, maybe
I
he
pay,
did.
I pay him 5k euro to shut up.
Oh shit! Oh, 'cause he's saying in chat right now he wants $500 from people in chat to come and slap you. So money's getting thrown around the household right now, man. Make sure the door's locked. Fucking hell.
We love money, the Jewish people, man.
Oh dear. Okay, so where are we at here? We're talking about the off season where you're at and you being in this awesome position. Obviously, Vitality, your reasons for getting there. We've discussed some of those. At no point did you mention Zywoo. Was that going to come out of your? You get to play with one of the greatest players of all time. That must be pretty cool.
I don't think this is even a question, man. Like it's obvious. You have the opportunity to play with. I think now with NAVI going international, maybe it's a bit different. But I think before, even when Spinks went to Vitality and ENCE was like in better form, it was just you get the chance to play with a guy that looks like one of the best teammates there is on the planet. He's the best player in the world, statistics like wise, and he's so good, man. And he doesn't give a fuck. He just plays the game. I love the game. It's me. I tell you, and it's the opportunity to play with him and many more experienced players as well. Like I think I think it was when I heard this thing is like an option. I was thinking, Zywoo. I didn't even think about him. I was like, yeah, thank you, God that this guy's there waiting for me. And then Zonic, Magisk, and Apex. It's like I sort of get to play first time in my life, other than Mighty Max, I feel like, and Alexi, with an IGL that is been IGLing a lot and is very hardworking, or like maybe more experienced IGL than like Nexa was experienced, but I think in G2 kind of everybody knows what's happening there with like what.
I mean, he was always kind of one leg into IGLing, one out. Kind of. I don't want to do it, but I'm kind of made to do it.
Actually, Nexa was way better than I thought when he joined OG. It's like a very good IGL, but it's just like maybe what I'm trying to say. It's more like an IGL that has been playing in IGL like for 3 years, 5 years, and he picked up some trophies along the way, like more experience, and he kind of has his way. And then Magisk, obviously, like one of the most experienced players there is. Zonic, like they have insane coaching stuff. On paper, this team looks insane, So I think it was just a no-brainer for me. Like I just heard it, and then I said, like, obviously.
So it's kind of like that. Like you obviously had multiple offers. Everyone knows this at this point. Like probably Liquid ENCE were people that maybe inquired about you, but when the Vitality offer came, it was like instantly, yeah, this is what I'm taking.
I think first of all, it wasn't. I got some offers before the others, so like I'm not sure if I can say it, but I'll just say it that Vitality they talked with me after Washington. And back then, I was talking with all the other orgs because they're not playing Washington, or they're playing Washington, but their players are not good enough, or they want a roster change. So then I'm thinking to myself, like they won the major, they get finals, like
they're not going to change.
Yeah, it doesn't look so safe for me to build up on that. So meanwhile, I'm talking with all the other organizations and like the other offers that I have that look promising. And then when they contact me, it was basically, like, is it a serious contact, or is it like, are they contacting me and they want me? And then I understood that that's what their plans are. And I said, like, yeah, obviously. But before that, it was some organizations. Like I had a little dilemma, but there was another org that was sort of my main thing in the head. That I knew that, if Vitality don't knock at the door, I'm going to join them. So there was like one org that was just my main thing, but there was also many organizations and rosters that it fit. Like I think the players were very good, and it fit like what I want.
It sounds like you got to run the off season like a fuckboy. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah,
I got this one chick. This is the one. But if it doesn't work out, I've always got to fall back here. It's like,
but I'm
bro, how many fucking options did you need? Like,
like I'm not saying it. It's not like I had many offers, but there was the offers that were there were like I was very happy with them. So, and I was very happy with it, and I sound like a fuckboy actually when I think about it. this guy, I was waiting for this girl to come to leave her boyfriend. But at
and then you're like trying out over here, kind of making some plans, and then it's like, oh, actually, I'm busy this summer. What, Chad? What do you think about a esports dating show?
An esports dating show.
Yeah.
What, for teams? Would it be going to teams, or are we talking like actual
Maybe
dating?
I don't know. Maybe actual dating. What do you think? I think that would be a banger. That would be giga hit.
It'd be content. I'll tell you that much.
You know,
I'll tell you that
Do
much.
the girls know that they're talking to a CS player?
Oh,
I
well,
don't
we
know,
can do
maybe
it.
that could be half the fun.
They shouldn't be like that, man.
We work out what game you're a professional in, right? They have to, ask them questions, see if we'll get some people from Valorant involved. We'll see what we can.
It's too easy, man. What game do you? Yeah, it's too easy. I think
Yeah.
if it's like a blind date show, the girls doesn't know who she speaks with, then it could be funny actually. Some people I can imagine that would be very funny doing it.
Do you think? Do you think some players would sign up for it?
I think Smoya would sign up for that. I think this guy would
Show matches and dating shows. So you become like one of those reality TV stars who ends up on Big Brother or something, right? When we get Smoother on Big Brother, we need to get him over there.
Smoya would be hilarious, man. He's such
I'd
a funny
vote
guy.
for him to stay in, not to get eliminated from the house. I don't know if I'd even be able to vote. Okay, where are we at here? We're kind of sliding a little bit off track. Okay, so we did the vitality stuff. I feel we've spoken a lot about vitality, haven't we, Prof? We know all the reasons.
Seems like we're just kind of circling around it. We're not really.
He wants to win
diving
trophy.
deep.
Wait, what do you want to ask? But you want to go into some of the stuff like with the Nero article, I suppose.
Maybe we can ask him like.
This could be a good time.
I think that's the angle. So go back to vitality now.
Okay,
right
so I don't know if did you see the article that Nero did about you, Flames?
Oh, if I fit.
Yes, stat check and some of the positions.
Yeah,
so Dimitri can maybe bring this up for
what
everybody.
What did you think? What are your first reaction?
Well, I think. Well, obviously, right now, like is correct in like the position wise, because I don't remember what I was reading right now, but I think role wise, I thought it fits a lot because well, back then when in 2022 at least December they didn't do so good, and I thought to myself maybe they will do a roster change, and very soon I'll be available. And back then it was that Dupree was playing short on Mirage. He was playing like some of the positions were like very, not like anchoring, right? More my style, the rotation kind of thing. But Spinks really likes the short on Mirage. He really likes the other sort of anchor, right? The other sort of rotation. So I thought to myself back then, like this could have been a good move, just because it would get Spinks into his like position that he really likes, and it will get me into the position that I feel like I fit in better. But also to add into context, I have been playing B house and A side on like anchoring everywhere for like 3 or 4 years. So on city sides, I think it sort of fits. Like I think I will study it again, but I'll aspire to be the best teammate I can and understand the best on the sides. I think on this side, I'm very flexible. I think I can do most of the stuff, and I don't care if people prefer to play that one or that one. I'll just sort of get to know the other things better. But I think on this side I fit because Vitality like they need a guy that runs and doesn't give like a single fuck and sacrifices, and I think I fit that background pretty well. So on
Do you
this
think
side,
you're going to be used a lot like a hard entry, like when Jack stood in, like how they're using on Nuke, for example, just throwing him in top side and stuff?
I'm not sure yet, but I believe like this is the style that I think I'm sort of the best at. In my own like how I play, I think I feel a lot like very comfortable with like playing aggressive and giving my teammates like feeling that someone is sacrificing for them, especially when you have a team with a player that can close out any 1v4 round or like 1v3 1v2 like Zayu, and then you have Spinks, and like all around the team is very experienced. So I think obviously I wouldn't confirm what roles I'm playing.
Sure.
But I would just say that if I would fit in the pre-style, I think on this side I would pretty much fit because I'm very aggressive, and I think that's what sort of their vision is. With at least how we saw Jax playing with them back then. I think that's also what made the pre very good towards the end. That it was very aggressive from the roots. It didn't care so much. And that's what I have right now, and I need to develop it more. And then on City, I think like I'm not sure how it will go, but like I'll have to see first the roles. But I think in this kind of level, every player should know that he's gonna sacrifice something and try to do the very best and try to master the side that he's playing. And I'm not the guy who is gonna care to do that.
Okay.
Do you think you're a flexible player?
Yeah, I think I'm very flexible because I think at least in the Israeli teams back then, nobody really knew what the other was best at, so you just played everything. You just played like I played BRs for 2 years, I think, in 2015, 2017, whatever. Then I played A-Site in OG and Endpoint. All my time I played basically A-Site until Alexi left, and then I played Connector. But I was always trying to learn like the short position and stuff to understand the map better. So I think I'm very flexible, like in terms of like, I think every position is very studyable. Like you can study it, and if you have the feeling that you don't care to sacrifice, I don't think Anchor is like such a bad role. I think you see Shu, Schnaf, Tessus, like like these players, they show up that you can still put up numbers, you can still play good, you can still, sacrifice, but the team can still play very well off what you do. And I think that's what I like want to become if I do play the Anchor role.
I think one of the best things, right, about this is me, that's not really asking a question, more making a statement, but with this move is like your age and then like what you've shown so far, and I think like what people expect that you can show in the future, right? Because you're still hungry. Like, and we're going into CS2, and I imagine when it comes out, you're just going to sit there like an absolute fucking nerd and learn everything you possibly can about it. Are you wasting any time? Well, it's not wasting time. Are you using time? You're in your break, so it wouldn't be wasting time at all. How are you using your break? Let's start there, and then we'll ask a follow-up question.
Well, at the start, I wanted to fly to, I think I was with San Pius in Dallas in the elevator, and he was telling me in Spanish accent, you should go to south of Spain. It's the best, you're going to find the best time in there. And I was thinking I should go to south of Spain and just chill and take a vacation. But then I went to my doctor, and he told me that I have some infection around my eye that I need to, I need to have like a treatment for it. And if possible, not to fly, it would be better. So I said to myself, yeah, I'm just going to go back to CSGO. I've been playing some CSGO. I'm still, soon we're going to go back to like the team practice and everything is going to go back to normal. But right now I'm just like, going out with friends to come back home from whatever they have their jobs. So like military right now, most of them are in. And then basically fixing everything that involves like that needs time, like treatment, doctors, medical health, psychology, whatever there is that can be fixed while I'm home, and then go off to play but I play a lot of CS and Rocket League. Actually, I've been playing so much. I think I have 70 hours past 2 weeks on just playing video games. So
okay,
I'm exploring everything, man.
Yeah, well, that's what I was. That's the question, right? Because we've got you right now. It's usually pretty difficult for us during the break to get players, right? Prof, we tend to have a bit of a more tough time because people are away on holidays. But we knew that with CS2 coming at some point, people might be staying at home because they don't know if they need to practice CS2. Now I think everyone's thinking that's going to be a little bit further away. But you with your infection at home playing, I'm just checking your pugs today, mate. 2 Mirage losses. What's going on? And right before we had to come on.
Yeah, look who I'm playing against, though, man. I cannot beat them.
Fuck, Patsy's on the other, yeah. Sirens on the other team. Okay.
Yeah, but they were like, when we play Israeli 5 stack on Face It, we just run and we want to have fun, man. And some of the
it almost sounded like you got like AI muted. Like I could see your mouth moving, but nothing came out. So...
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah,
no, I heard you, but you were like, okay. We play like.
Wait, I'll just say it again. Some of the CIS players, man, they take it more seriously in some of the pugs, and I think it's always fun to play against them. But we couldn't beat them with the roster we had.
Mate, this is just, I can just see this now. You guys are probably both ending up on some fucking German server. Everybody with 60 ping. Your mob just fucking all wide swinging. Them just creeping around every corner.
Stop reminding me that, man. It's a horror movie, man.
I can see it now. Okay, all right. So you're using your break plan. Are you playing any CS2? Have you checked it out?
I entered to check how my knife looks, and then I left.
Okay, the important things.
Yeah, and then I just left.
You're not getting involved into CS2 until it comes out.
I didn't like the movement. No, I played actually one match. IQ matchmaking, first time in my life. I go back to Israel after 2 months outside of Israel. I'm not used to 10 ping to 60, 50, 70 ping. I queue and I go against Olofmeister, Neo, Get Right, like some,
the team in Morning Star.
Yeah. They play like that, and I'm like, man, these guys, man, they're insane. Like I play A this specific matchmaking. Olofmeister goes out A ups, one taps me. Then Get Right goes out A ups, top one taps me. I'm like, man, I cannot play against these Swedish legends, man. They should go back to play active, man. But I played this one matchmaking, and then I left, and I said I'm not gonna play it again until they fix the movement, or at least until the full game comes out, because it was just so buggy, man. I think at some point people were like flying in, like there was so many weird stuff in the game. There was.
I played some today. I was still lagging a bit on it. I had to count my FPS at 500 again. I was like, I haven't played much of it either. I'm kind of sad we're losing CSGO, so I'm just trying to play that.
Yeah.
Like, well, we'll get this in, and once we have CS2, we'll deal with what we have in the future. Okay.
Yeah, that's what at least Cologne should be CSGO. Actually, we should
Hopefully.
believe. Yeah. So.
Hopefully.
But what do you think? Do you think it's better to have like the big CS2 announcement in such a big event like I'm Cologne, or let like I'm Cologne be a beginner sort of event?
I don't think it matters. I truly don't think it matters. I think that it's going to come at wherever it comes, it's going to be disruptive one way or another, and it's just going to like disruptive. Like it will cause cause issues. Like people will say, you know, oh, we haven't had enough practice, or it's too new, or this. That's going to happen no matter when and where it drops, and it's never going to drop at a convenient time. So I guess the biggest thing is, do we want like Cologne to maybe one of the last big CSGO arena events? Well, considering how good Cologne has been all the years, yeah, maybe that would be cool. Right, maybe that could be a cool little, you know, but who knows? I'm not giving it an awful lot of thought. I'm kind of like a little bit like what you're saying about playing it. I'm kind of waiting a little bit to see, because we know there is issues. People are pointing out the issues all the time with the movement and whatnot, and they're working on it. Maybe it gets fixed. Oh, maybe it gets fixed. You never know. Do we want to jump into Skinionaire?
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, and then we can pop more questions in as we go, because we're going to talk about his team a little bit later in the show as well. Yeah. All right, Dimitri, are you ready to do Skinionaire? Yes, Dimitri's mega ready. All right, perfect. Dang. All right, Flames, you know what we're doing here with Skinionaire? It's 5 questions.
No.
Every question you get right, they're going to be multiple choice. It's going to move the slider up, and if you get all 5 correct, there's a $50 skin available for one lucky winner in Twitch chat. Those people at home need to be typing BitSkins into Twitch chat right now. And I'll be a lifeline. I'll give you a hand if I can. We don't have Striker here today, so if you need any hands with the questions.
Let me understand correctly. If I win, I don't get anything.
No.
Okay. So the Twitch
you win for the people at home.
Holy shit.
You're the hero of the people.
And, and if you don't like the people at home, you just try and get all of the answers incorrect, so they get
no one did this.
Yeah, but nobody wants to do that, right?
Yeah, well,
it would be kind of funny.
You could sandbag.
Who pays it? Who pay a skin? Yeah, so we scam the skin side, so it's okay.
Okay, all right. Scam it. Okay, all right.
Okay, let's go.
Are you ready?
It's a voluntary agreement that all parties have entered voluntarily.
It's a free raffle.
It's a free world.
we're giving it away out of the goodness of our hearts. All right, question number 1. Who wants to be a Skinionaire with Flames? What was ZywOo's last team before joining Vitality? Was it A? A. Okay, doesn't even need it. We'll lock it in, and it's the correct answer. And bang, correct answer A. Nice, simple, easy one there out the gates. Bang. The green light's about to come on any second. Don't you worry about it.
I actually beat him in ESEA Advanced.
Damn. You rubbed that in his face yet?
No, not yet.
What's the age difference between you and ZywOo? What's he like?
I think 2 years or something, man. This
guy's
20 years older, yeah.
I'm 2003, and this guy
is 20.
He's 22. He's 22.
Yeah, 22. Let's check his Wikipedia page, though.
Yeah, he's not. This is the thing.
Which page?
I think he said Wikipedia.
Which page?
2000. Also, it's
because he's looking for that. He's looking for the birth year.
We should have that. We should have that.
It's a young core of the team now. ZywOo 22, Spinks 22, Flames 20. What's Magis 25?
I think 24.
Yeah, so it's a pretty young team. Okay, question number 2. Getting sidetracked. Magis claimed one big event trophy before joining Astralis back in 2016. Which one? Star Series, Epicenter, or DreamHack Masters?
I think I would go with DreamHack, man, because I think Faldo always used to tell me that North. Oh wait, maybe Star Series actually, because it was in America. Fuck it, DreamHack Masters.
Okay, he's just locking it into it. Yeah, he's like, well, I don't know. The correct answer is Epicenter.
Man. What is this event, man?
Well, this was a Russian event. They had 2 in back-to-back years. One was in St. Petersburg, and the other was in
Moscow.
Yeah, and was this when they were North or Dignitas?
But either way, when they were Dignitas. Because,
so Magisk and Config on the same team. That would have been the case,
still,
right?
I can just Google the answers, right? You don't have...
Well, you can, but that would kind of be against the spirit of the game.
You're going to get your brother in your room to make sure that
you're not going to be disqualified.
I'll play by the rules.
There really are no rules around here. All right, question number 3. Which current Bad News Eagles member did Spinks team up with on Contact? Bloody hell, he's just locking it in. Rigon in.
He's pre-firing answers here.
No, Rigon was obvious. I remember talking with him back then about Spinks in Contact.
Okay. Was it good conversations or bad conversations?
No. Good conversation about the players, not so much about the org.
All right, fair enough. All right, question number 3.
Rip contact.
No, wait, 4. Question number 4. 2 times major winner, 2 times top 20 player of the year. How many MVPs does Apex have? 0, 1, or 2?
Man, this is... Wait, 2 major winner, 2 ex top 20 players of the year.
Yeah, it's Apex,
Yeah,
mate.
I'd put 2 just because I believe in my teammate.
Okay, all right. Fair enough. That's
0,
a 0.
man. Really?
Look, but at least your captain will be happy that you did that. That's blind belief. And that's what he needs.
Someone clip this, send it to Apex.
At 15, 14, when Apex tells you to rush B, you know, that's perfect. You're not going to question it. You're going to do as you're told.
I need to get one MVP and shove it in his face. When he calls something. It's called something. No, I'm MVP, man. Not you, man.
Question number... He's got 2 majors. Question number 5. When was Vitality founded? 2003, 2008, 2013?
Man, I saw the website today and it was established, I think it was, yeah, it has to be 2013 or 2003. And because I think Vitality is young, I would go 2013.
All right, let's see.
I think 2008 too.
2013 is correct. All right,
perfect.
So you got to see you've answered the questions good for the org. So what did we get? 4 out of 5 here? No, we got 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5. All right, 3 out of 5. But that's all right.
With no help from Striker, I feel like this is a realistic.
Mate, he was pre-firing some of the things before there was even a chance to confer.
Some of the questions were very easy, man. But how the fuck do I know how much?
We need to reformat this to be like 2 minutes total for 5 questions, so people can go fast.
Well, he went fast.
I think it's more exciting.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, we should draw the winner, and then we'll be getting our goodies over to you. I'm waiting for Dimitri to do that. I don't really know what Lucas does at a time like this, Prof. I assume he uses some kind of randomizer. The winner is AKSKR. AKSKR. There you go. Is there an AKSKR in the chat? Our people will reach out to your people, and we'll get the skin your way. So there you go. That's Who Wants to Be a Skinionaire, brought to you by BitSkins. All right, nice. Okay, cool. How's everybody feeling? Just a temperature check. Prof, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Yeah, feeling good. It's I'm also like kind of between like hot, cold here. I'm also kind of twiddling with the AC a bit. It's tricky. You close your window, everything's fine, but then the PC starts heating things up. So I'm not really comfortable with the summer heat yet. I'm kind of getting used to it.
I'm struggling as well. Did you say can I? flameZ, did you say can I and then you were going to say something after that? Or am I hearing
I'm good,
things?
I'm good.
You
I
good?
said can I, but I don't need you anymore.
Okay. Fair enough. That's okay.
We do an ad break into.
Well, yeah, we can. Do you want to do recent news and then the ad break, or do you want to do ad break and then recent news?
We can do that. Let's do that. Let's do recent news then.
All right, roll the bumper, Dimitri. Let's get into the recent news. All right, we're back in business, baby, and we're getting into the recent news now. Some fun stuff, some recent news, hot off the presses. Just before we went live, about an hour before we went live, HLTV put an article up, but there was already an announcement that came out via Twitter earlier in the day regarding Astralis being fined $100,000 for a conflict of interest. This is to do with the breach of partnership rules and regulations as the ESL Louvre agreement, right? So the Louvre partner teams. Now, this goes down to, essentially, it wasn't named, Prof. I know you got a bit of a gripe with this, but there was a conflict of interest that has been cited where they had what do they call it, an independent investigation go on over this. And this was back in 2021, I believe this all went down, right?
Yes.
So Striker's not here. Do you want to give the official word?
I have to, I guess. This is now, it's not my job. I'm holding forth. I mean, essentially, the VSL just put out a statement about Astralis essentially kind of breaching the Louvre agreement by having a individual, which they didn't name, that we all know is Hundan, signed to work with Astralis while he was still signed and like working for Heroic, which is essentially like a conflict of interest that they didn't disclose and kept like hidden essentially for a period of time. And I think in the article it says that they were ESL that is were aware of this, became aware of this year, and then they started the investigation. And these are the findings of the investigation. There was also a report from Richard Lewis, I think it was around in March, which some like transcripts and stuff about what happened was essentially like Casper quit and between him and Hunden about like essentially offering him a contract, signing like revised contracts and like some work that was supposed to be done while Hunden was still in Heroic. Essentially, it came down that, and this is something that I, even back then, like in 2020, 2021, when all of this was kind of developing with like the sharing of files and all of these things, like it's impossible that in some way Astralis are not implicated in any wrongdoings. And like finally something came out of it, which kind of, I don't want to say makes me happy, because I mean, it does, because if you're fucking up and doing wrong things, you should kind of be found responsible for it, essentially. And yeah, Astralis are fined $100,000. Who that money's going to, I don't know. It doesn't say.
Where it's going, what it's for, who knows?
But it is like on paper that they did something wrong. Meanwhile, like they didn't even mention Hunden in the actual
yeah, but Hunden put out a statement as well, right?
Yes, I just want to say, like, Hunden wasn't, for this particular thing, it wasn't found as Hunden being guilty. Because I think at the time Heroic wasn't even a partner team with ESL, so he wasn't like breaching. He wasn't under their jurisdiction even to be found guilty of anything. But Astralis was, so that's just a fact.
Okay, so yeah, someone's been fined $100,000. Hunden says he wasn't involved, or says that he wasn't cited here. So I don't. Yeah. I guess we're in a place where we have to make some assumptions, where we make an ass out of you and me. Do you have any thoughts about Hunden Flames?
I don't care.
Probably not. No, I didn't think you did.
It looks boring, man.
Yeah,
but I think who the 100,000 is going to? Yeah, it should go to like
a charity. What about puppies?
A charity.
Yeah, because the guy's name is Dog. We give it to a charity about puppies.
What? Who's the guy's name?
Hunden. It means dog in Danish.
Really?
I think. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that would be nice, but I doubt they will give it to charity. I don't think the Saudis would take the $100,000 as well, or I don't think they would care so much about it. So
I don't think they need $100,000.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think it would go to the newly signed player of the biggest team in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So
yeah,
look at this. You need to remove your microphone just a bit because you moved it back.
It's a signing. It's a signing bonus. Okay. Let's keep jumping around here. Now, PGL, they've been doing some tweets, and as we know, the first CS2 major, the next major, which is next year, still some time away, they've been announcing bits and bobs, which has been wonderful to see that it's coming out so early. Right, tickets were on sale. Did you see that, Prof?
Bro, I wrote an article about it.
Couldn't bloody believe it.
Insane.
Dates are available, tickets are on sale, and the event's not until fucking March next year.
That's cool. I saw someone on Reddit posting that like maybe Saturday or something is sold out already, but I don't know if that's correct, but maybe it is, who knows. I think people complained about the prices because it's not cheap. I think it's like the cheapest to go for all 4 days, like around $350-$400 or something. So not little, but at the same time, like it is the major, and previously they have been sold out. So I don't see why not. You know, if they can figure out this is the price, you know,
if people are willing to pay it, that's what it comes down to, right?
If essentially
it's supply versus demand.
Yeah, if Taylor Swift can have 5 concerts in Wembley, then you know, for like $300 probably for the cheapest ticket, then why not? Then she can do it, just like PGL can charge 200 or whatever for a premium.
The open qualifier is so soon, man. It's do you know the?
It's in January. Yeah,
this is the thing.
You're not going to be in the open qualifier, mate. What are you even worried about?
Yeah. But in OG, I played the open qualifiers. It was nightmares. But
that's OG's
I mean,
problem.
So let's say the player break ends at, or possibly
it's
usually
in the player
January,
break.
Right?
It's
so,
these are in the player break.
But who's in charge of the player breaks?
Well, the CSPPA that no longer exists. So you guys don't get breaks anymore, I guess.
No, for me, it is so crazy because I don't know if everyone's sleeping on this or if they don't care or if they care but they're okay with it. But like these dates for the open qualifiers are very bad. Like these are
the 9th of January.
Extremely bad. And I'm shocked. Like I was like, okay, let's see what teams that actually are affected by this are gonna do. And all of the feedback I heard is like, oh, this is great. They're announcing it so much in advance. That is super nice. For if you are, you know, G2 or whatever, if you're all of the top teams, I would say even Astralis should maybe start complaining because the closed qualifier is like 14th of January, which is literally the first day, or 15th, the first day of what is supposed to be the start of the season. You're already playing what is essentially the super important
Most
matches.
important, yeah.
So that's, in my opinion, that's very bad. But no
Prof,
one is saying anything. No one is saying fucking anything. So
you're saying
apparently,
something right now.
yes,
Yeah,
but and they are all gonna wait until fucking November and December. They're gonna be like, "Oh, what is this? Oh, I can't play this. This is a disgrace. Like, what are you doing, guys? Just start complaining right now because this is shit. Like, this literally, the open qualifier number 1 starts like 1 day after like Orthodox Christmas. So this is already for all of the Eastern Europeans pretty shit. And even if that is not the case, if you are like having the classic, you know, Christmas 25th, 24th, New Year's off, you literally need to start practicing on January
after.
1st to be able to play on January 7th, 8th. Like if you're not practicing January 1st, then that essentially means the winter play break is now like 2 weeks instead of 4.
Yeah.
I mean, there is no winter play break, right? Like you have Christmas evening and that's it, right? You have some Christmas Eve for Christians. I have no idea how it works for you guys, but then that's
isn't
it, right?
Isn't it the same date for you guys?
No, we don't have Christmas. We have Hanukkah.
Yeah, well, is the same date? No.
They got all the candles, right, on the stick.
Yeah, perfect. Oh, you're good at Judaism.
No, at all, man. The candles on a fucking stick, mate.
No, but yeah, we do it. But I think it's like 8 days. It's not like it's not like you sit with your family in snows and you have a cozy fire, like in the movies. You know, I don't know how it works. You get present for a family. It's not like that, you know. So it's like a very chill holiday, we call it. But it's impossible. I think people that are not playing the majors and they're gonna play the open qualifier, they shouldn't play some tournaments in November and then take their break back then and then grind like all the open
over
qualifier.
Christmas.
Yeah, because some of the tier 2, tier 3 teams, they're not gonna give a fuck about player break, man. They're just gonna play, win this tournament, play the major, and that's it. And that is super easy.
Well, this is good to know. I need a team for the 8th and 9th of fucking January then. You've got to start practicing now. I need to make a team. I'll see if I can find 4 other members to join me on the path to the first CS2 major.
Do you want to do a boot camp for that?
Yeah, well, I'm going to start boot camping now because, you know, it's going to take me that long, Prof. So if I start boot camping now.
Maybe we can organize something. I have some ideas.
All right, cool. That's great. Okay. The date's not good. Prof is telling you to say something about it. The people who need to say something about it are not the pundits. The pundits are not going to be affected by this.
If everyone's fine with it, then it's fine. But I think it's just going to be the classic example of people just like not reading anything until it's too late.
Yeah.
I think the orgs are probably already reached out to PGL and to the player break organizer.
The player break organizer does not exist because like CSPPA is.
But PGO never played ball with CSPPA anyway, right? So it needs to come from somewhere else, right? Wasn't CSPPA? Not everyone was a part of CSPPA.
That is true. They weren't a part of. Yeah, but it doesn't matter if everyone's going to agree with something. Then if at least there is like a way of uniting voices, right? And being like, okay, we don't want this, we want this. And the problem is that now all of the big teams don't really care about this because they are not going to be playing the open qualifiers unless something changes.
So they have less pull because the bigger names are not that influential.
Exactly. So like the teams that are interested in this are like the endpoints and, you know, the top 30 to 50, 60 teams in the world, essentially.
Sure. Yeah, no, but I think it probably is important that if the main player base of people, and this is where like Stiko even made a tweet today, like because we're going to talk about the CSPPA stuff in a minute, but this is where I don't know, that it's hard for somebody to take the responsibility to do this, right? And you ideally want it to be a player or someone who's recently an ex-player, someone who knows what it's like in the professional scene and can help these people out. And it's a difficult thing for someone to just stand up and put their hand up and do it for free. Like I get all of those things, but realistically, the best way for this to ever work from a union perspective is to have people who actually know what it's like representing these players and not just have some guy who used to do fucking handball in Denmark that's going to get paid some money and then fucking run away. Like, and that guy was dodgy with the handball or volleyball or whatever the fuck.
You're not talking about Kasper Witt, just so people know, who is also an ex-handball
No, this was another guy. This was like a union guy. I was reading up about him for a little while. I don't know the fuck. Yeah.
No, Ian is ESIC. This is like
okay.
Yeah.
Whoever this guy was, he wore a mustache.
Are they different? Like ESIC and CSPPA?
Yeah, so
Yes.
ESIC is like meant to do things with like
Data
match
police.
fixing or cheating on all that kind of stuff. CSPPA is meant to, like, if you guys had trouble with ESL and because they were only giving you 1 banana a day and you wanted 2 bananas a day, then you'd get the CSPPA to make
course.
ESL give you 2 bananas a day, right? Like,
But if they're not like they're just disbanded, or what happened?
Well, no one knows because nothing.
They never said
their
anything.
Essentially, their website doesn't exist anymore. Like, so that's the first red sign. They haven't tweeted anything.
Finally,
and,
man.
And all of the most of the players that we reached out to have said like, oh, I quit CSPPA X time ago and stuff like that. Scoots was involved. He's not involved for like over a year. So it just seems like kind of a empty shell now. And usually, like, one of the things that they did is like they standardized the tables, let's say the PCs for tournaments. Like, that was what CSPPA did, talking to players, saying like, okay, this is good enough, this is good enough, we need this much space, we need these kinds of beds, we need
can't play past midnight, can't play before like all of these restrictions.
Okay. And then the player break was also one of the big things that, like, they talked to TOs and they talked to players and they made a middle ground, like these are the days that we're not going to do tournaments, right? So
okay, fair enough.
Now that doesn't exist, so it's instantly, like, we instantly see the results of that with the PGL just putting the open qualifiers into what was usually the player / tournament break, right? So
but I think it's because PGL doesn't have the ESL blast context all day, right? They're not like so familiar with that.
It doesn't even in some way they have the right to put it wherever, so it's on players to be like, okay, this is not okay.
I don't think PGL gives a fuck which team you're part of or which org you're a part of. It's like, oh, you want to play the CS2 major that we're running? Well, you play in our dates. You're playing an our event, right? Like, they've kind of made their own rules. That's just the way it is, I guess.
Someone can take that. That CSPPA idea could be way better than I think what it was. I didn't think it was so good. I remember when I was like tier 2, tier 3, even like when I was playing, and I was emailing them because they were the only like piece of they were the only body to come and get help from. They didn't give a fuck, man. When I joined Endpoint, suddenly they knock at the door. Oh, this website, look how amazing we are. But before that, they I remember they didn't really give they don't really care about any other any of the players that are not related to big organizations, which I don't think is fair. I played a minor qualifier with 400 ping just because these guys don't do anything. Like, or back then, I'm not sure like if they're the people that you need to come to when you have an issue as a player against like the ESL blast or whatever, but they just didn't do anything back then. Like, I remember talking to them only in that point.
Have some power to. They obviously can't like force people to change. They can, but that would be through like union action
and
essentially,
striking, like what we saw in League.
But they should also just have the power to be like, okay, hello entity like ESL, PGL, whatever, this is wrong. You should do it this way, and then through like a peaceful way, find a way to like help the other party understand that this is not the best way to do it, and these are the best ways to do it, because this is a thing that happens almost every time with like the Asia qualifiers for like Middle East. There's always like some fuck up in terms of like how they organize them, and there's always some teams that have to play like 400 ping, and there's always some fuck ups. And this is a thing that happens with every tournament organizer, again, every major, until they figured it out. And then instead of ESL learning and then having that knowledge shared among all fucking entities through something like CSPPA. So ESL fucks up, but then they learn and then they share this, and then now this is a standard, and now CSPPA can then tell PGL next time and Blast like, okay, this is how you need to do the Asia stuff. But that requires a lot of work and knowledge and is very unthankful, right? It's not really a thing that people are going to write articles about and be like, oh, they're so good. But that's essentially how it should work in theory.
And I think one of the problems as well, and something that you highlighted here, Flames, is pointing out when you were not part of a notable organization that there was no real interest. This is half the problem, like with the immaturity of our scene, right? And that's not, I don't mean we're immature individuals and we're all silly and we're all doing stupid stuff. It's just that we're still quite a young space. And I think eventually we need to evolve into a point where we do have a players union, but that players union needs to like be for all the players, whether that's like from semi-professional up to professional, where it would just work on some pay scale, right? Like whatever your earnings are in a month or a year, a percentage of that would go to help fund the union. And we're talking a small percentage, right? That way, if you're a player in Vitality and you're getting paid really good money, you're going to contribute a little bit more, or a lot more, I would say, than someone in, I don't know, like fucking Endpoint, who would contribute, what, but you can all contribute a percentage of whatever your earnings are, and then you were all represented. And the problem with this is it's collective bargaining as well, like in the sense that you guys are able to push some certain things around together, being the players, but then we get in sticky situations because some of you guys are part of partner agreements with ESL and Blast, and your TO has more, your organized, like your owner has more control over you than maybe what you can do with the union. So we get in some really sticky situations. We get in some scenarios which it's not easy for anybody to make a decision with. But before I keep blabbing on too much, we did this as the VoxPop for the week.
Yes,
and,
that is true.
Do you want to talk everyone through this one now?
I mean,
Prof?
it's very easy. I put the question: are organizations like CSPPA and ESIC needed in Counter-Strike? Because I was really curious about what the people think.
What the general public would think.
What do the people think with all of the news that's coming out and everyone tweeting like, "Oh, fuck these guys, blah blah, they should disband." You can pull up the results whenever, and I think it's not that bad. I'm just happy to see that people understand that these things are generally good, but the execution was just bad and is bad. So like we need it, but we need it to be reformed in different ways, essentially.
And it will happen. It'll happen. It's just going to take us a while to get there. And I don't know the right way that things need to be done in this space, but I'm sure that one day we will probably stick our nose in the right place, because we're going to keep having things that are bad. Right, that's just the way it is. There's always grifters. There's always some fucking people out there to finesse and try and make a quick buck and do all these things. And we're a new, fun, growing industry with a lot of lights around us. There's a lot of old people who think they know how to do things who come in and they fuck everything up. I guess I'm one of the old people now. There was a thread about me yesterday on HLTV.
What was it?
It said, "What's Sponge going to do at 50?" And someone said he's going to have 15 hair transplants. I hope I don't have that one. This one seems to be working all right.
Did you have a hair transplant?
Yeah.
Really?
Here
Where?
in Malta. Well,
Malta?
Yeah.
Do you have the picture when they
yeah, I'll
stick
show
your
you.
head?
It's on Twitter, man. I
Really?
put it up. Yeah. I did a whole thing talking about it because
I didn't know you were bald at some point.
Yeah, man.
I mean, he wasn't bald, bro. That is the thing. He was just like balding.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I would say kind of like me. Maybe I would say it was even better than me right now. But
Are you
know
going
how
bald
it is.
soon?
Yeah. Do you want to see?
Yeah, sure.
If you look like, if I do like this, then
Wait,
you can see.
do you pull your hair? If you go like this, does the hair go away? Does it
Depends.
detach?
Nah, not really that bad. It's just like it's not growing that much. It's not like it falls out that much.
There you
It's
go.
more-
Look at that. I linked them in TeamSpeak for you, mate. You can check out those two right there. There's the back of my head all completely cut open, and there's the other one of like how thin everything it got.
Is this bleeding or what is that?
No, so that's all
red
like
thing?
scabbed up. That is blood, yeah.
Okay. Is that painful or you don't feel anything?
They anesthetize you pretty good. So you just
Oh
sit in
my
a chair.
god! Don't pull this up, Dimitri.
You don't-
I saw this multiple times.
No way
you
in
can
the
show it if
world
you
I'm
want,
showing
Dimitri.
it. No,
It's all
no
good.
way.
You've when they numb you, you can feel the pressure of them doing it, but it doesn't hurt. Like it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
It's not like painful.
It's not how it looks like. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just but yeah, it's not something that I'd want to recommend anyone does for fun. Do it when you're real depressed about yourself because you're getting old. But that's what it's about, the thread about what I'm going to do when I'm 50. I don't know what I'm going to do when I'm 50. Hopefully I'm still doing something in Counter-Strike. Maybe not talking on podcasts because I think people will hate me by then. But maybe just making sure. Maybe I can do the unions when I'm 50. There we go. When I'm old and just wanting to do spreadsheets and stuff, I can do the unions. Okay.
Yes, for people that want to see it, I shared it in chat. So people that don't want to see
my
it.
head?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But we didn't bring up this fucking VoxPop thing.
We did.
got-
We just did the.
We did it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh.
We just had the poll.
Oh, okay. And then we were just talking about CSPPA before as well. We already
Yeah.
did that.
Yeah.
And we covered all that. So
Yes.
we're good. We're
Yes.
making great time here this evening. All right. Well, I'll allow everybody a minute to go look at the picture of my head because we'll take an ad break and we'll be right back.
Here's a good vibe, train, 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 train. Here's a good vibe, train, 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 train. Here's a good vibe, train, 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 train. Good vibe, train, yeah.
Finally, I found what I was looking for. Now that my search is over, it's gonna be a tough choice. But fortunately, no need to choose. When you can just have them all. Buy and sell skins on BitSkins.com.
best esports odds, VIP program and a variety of bonuses, fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO match and tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
We're back. flame's just gone to the bathroom, everybody. So we can answer a couple questions.
Is he allowed to do that?
Go to the bathroom? I think so. I don't know if he has to ask his parents or anything, but it's allowed here on the show. I think it's one of the rules. If you need to go to the bathroom, you can go. It's like school when you get into high school. Some of the teachers are cool.
To do a question? There's a question.
People want to know if I'm on finasteride.
People want to know if I'm on finasteride.
I use topical finasteride and minoxidil solution every day.
I have to be more diligent with stuff.
Yeah. So welcome back. How was your flow? You know, is it a strong flow?
What of the piss?
Yeah, you know, or was it one of these nervous pisses where you're in there and it was a little bit on and off?
It was okay. It's the flow was there, man. The flow was there.
All right, that's good. No prostate issues.
No, not yet.
Yeah, all right, that's great. All right, well, we can get. People don't like the piss talk. You got to toilet humor. Some of the best humor there is out there.
People, everyone's complaining about everything.
Everyone likes toilet humor. Some of the best fucking humor there is. All right,
guys.
It was true what Kassad said. Everyone's for free speech until you say something they don't like.
Amen.
I just don't think we should turn this into men's health problems talk show. Okay. This is not what I signed up for.
Maybe we should actually. Maybe we should do a special where we just talk about men's issues.
Right. Maybe our what's it called? Movember episode.
Yeah. Okay. That's not a bad idea. That's not a bad. All right. Let's get into the fun stuff. Right. Let's get talking about all these
top 5 mental breakdowns you've had in life.
Okay. No, only top 5. Damn. All right. Look, we got some Rostermania stuff to cover here this evening. There's been some more developments since the last episode. There's always something chopping and changing. And look at this fucking timeline. Look at this. I want you at home to look at this.
Can you link the thing in chat so I can open it full screen?
Yeah, link it as well. Yeah.
Do you want Dimitri's one? Yeah, I'll give you Dimitri's one. Yeah. Let me find. I just gotta go over to fucking Discord. But Dimitri made it look a little bit nicer.
Wow, man.
But man, I built this. I built this from scratch. I built a timeline of the remainder of the year of everything that we can be expecting here of the LAN events. Now you're probably sitting there and you're going, where the fuck is Blast Showdown? Well, as far as I'm aware, Blast Showdown's online now. And that old school Chad, he's coming back. The guy that doesn't just fucking, because it's a big name event, has to be on LAN. Remember when we cared about that? I remember when we cared about that. When we cared that things were on LAN. That's what we used to care about. If the good teams were there, if it was on LAN, and if there was lots of money. And then for some reason along the lines, we stopped caring about that. And we started talking about fucking some cunts playing online Counter-Strike and qualifier number 17 to go to okay, so let's get back down to the roots, the LAN events, the big boy tournaments, the stuff that everybody wants to see. Okay. So now, once we get back from the break, and I want to let everyone know we're back from the break in 14 days. The Blast groups start in fucking 14 days. It's insane. As you can see here, 13th to 23rd of July. That's going to be the Blast Premier Fall groups. Now, I was talking to Yanko about this the other day. He was saying from talking to some of the teams who are going to be in the Blast Premier Fall groups, they're looking at using that as a boot camp to get themselves ready for Cologne. Because 50% of the 12-team partner field of the Blast Premier Fall groups make it to the finals. And the other 50% of the field that don't go to get the last chance qualifier of the Showdown online. So here is a very low-stakes event to kick it off that goes for 2 weeks. Well, not 2 weeks, 10 days. It's 10 days worth of Counter-Strike for people to get in shape for Cologne that immediately rolls around 2 days later. A $1 million tournament, 25th to the 6th of August. And that's the start after coming out of the break with all these fucking crazy changes.
Bro, it's also insane. I am Cologne, $1 million. Gamers 8 $1 million. Hussar Cup, $1 million.
Right? Blast Premier World Finals, $1 million.
Yes.
Pro League is almost $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pro League is also like super distributed to everyone. But like these 3 events in a row, especially like Gamers 8 and Hussar Cup that are not like big brand names, let's say, having that much money is kind of insane.
People are saying the colors are all over the place. I want to point out that the color coding system is to represent the different time periods. So as you can see here, obviously for July, you've got the lighter shade of blue. And then as we transition into August, it goes to the more greeny yellowy
That's
color.
why, because some of these events are in 2 months. That's why they start as blue and end in yellow.
Yeah, and I've even done like different things of like the polls and stuff. So I've really tried here, guys, and I was proud of this. I was very proud of this. It was probably one of my favorite little creations I've made in Google Slides. So if you guys could just enjoy it and take the timeline for what it is, that'd be great. Okay, so yeah, Gamers 8. So we know there's going to be a lot of big boy teams there. Like who the teams at Gamers 8? Let me read those out for everybody. Heroic, Vitality, FaZe, G2, ENCE, Cloud9, Game EliGE, NAVI, Apex, Liquid, Furia, Virtus Pro, Fnatic, MIBR, Falcons, and TBD. It's a European Open qualifier. Could be anybody. Like that's a lot of good teams.
Yeah, it's a pretty sick tournament, yeah.
And then after that, obviously, we're looking at the timeline. We're going to go into the Hussar Cup, which is overlapping with the start of EPL. But we just saw 9 get announced today as the first team for the Hussar Cup. They only have 8 teams. Then EPL's on. That's going to have, how many teams does the EPL have again? Isn't it like 32?
32, yeah.
Yeah, it's a shit. So we got 32 teams of playing, and with that might be CS2. The entire time with this, we're asking ourselves the question, when CS2 coming? Then after Pro League finishes, we go down under for IEM Sydney, which is already 100% sold out. Already the whole event is sold out.
That's pretty crazy.
So that's really good news for Down Under.
But it's going to be so stacked, man.
What, Sydney?
No, like everything, like all these tournaments, because you just see the dates, but we travel and it takes a lot.
Media?
Yeah, we do media. We do like, the thing is like, you need to think you fly and you fly from a tournament to tournament. So you might have like 1 month that you're not home, and then your management or like the coaches, they think, okay, like the player needs some time for himself, right? So we need at least a 5-day break or a 3-day break so the players can do what they want. They just get home, maybe be with their family a bit. But now then you get 3 days after you have a tournament to attend, or like, and that's not all the online tournaments, I believe, which some teams are going to attend either ways because they just want to play everything. It's going to be so, I think it's going to be very stuck just for a player. You know, you travel. I think a lot of the new players were like Rainwaker. Imagine like the slap in the face you get from like, you sit in Bulgaria, you play some CSGO with your team. It's everything is chill and dandy, and then you have tournament. You're not home for 2 months. Then you have to do some media day in Los Angeles. Like you never know how it's gonna go. But it's like it doesn't look so good.
Yeah.
Like, schedule-wise, man, we need CSPPA back.
But this here is without the RMRs and the major, right? Those are two events that are not in the calendar, and like you're still saying it's going to be fucking gangbusters, which it is, right? You can see right here, what is the biggest gap we're looking at here from IEM Sydney finishing on October 22nd until the Blast Premier Fall Finals, which is the 22nd of November. So that's a month period right there. So we'll have a month. Like this is maybe the showdowns in there. I don't know. Like I said, it's online Counter-Strike. I didn't list it. I was being elitist when I was putting this. There will be other events in that time, no doubt. But that's where the biggest break here is in this. And then the Alyssa Masters Espo, we spoke about that a couple of episodes ago. And then to cap off the year, the Blast Premier World Finals, which I don't think, do we know where they're going to be yet? Have they announced the location for the World Finals yet, Prof? It's probably a Middle Eastern country.
I presume it's going to be Abu Dhabi again. I don't know if it was.
Really?
Well, probably. Yeah. I would imagine so. That's what they've done the last couple.
I don't know. I feel like I heard that it's like a multi-year thing. So I'm making it up now. And I think the year after they were going to change the location.
Okay. All right. Well,
that's my like vibe, but not a report or anything. Let's just say I think I heard this, or maybe I made it up.
But long story short, the whole point of this timeline here is to kind of put the next 6 months into frame for everybody, our viewers, us, everything, because what we're going to talk about now with all the roster changes, all of this needs to be kept in mind, right? You can see in front of you how these events are going to unfold, and this is mainly for the top tier teams. Obviously, some of the lower tier teams are going to get opportunities to play in these events and whatnot, but Vitality with flameZ here is a perfect example of a team that is essentially going to be playing in almost everything that you see on the screen right here. Maybe not Alyssa Masters Espo, maybe not the Hussar Cup, but pretty much everything else on the screen.
Hopefully the Hussar Cup.
There you go. So he wants to give it a crack for the millie. But like this is the framework we have to work with here. With the question the entire time, the fucking elephant in the room of when is CS2 going to slot into all of this, right? So this is the framing with the question, with the elephant in the room of CS2. And with that said, is there any, like, flameZ has got a takeaway? He feels like he's going to be under the pump. Prof, you have any takeaways from more of like I guess like a viewer standpoint?
I think it's going to be interesting. It's a weird season because of two reasons. First of all, no major. Second of all, CS2 is most likely going to be launched somewhere in the middle of this, which is kind of going to disrupt everything. And from a kind of an overview, like who was the best player of the year, who are the best teams, like it is kind of weird not having two majors and having like Cologne and Katowice, because that's kind of how you quantify who had a good year, who didn't have a good year. So it's going to be a bit different. And then because of the second major not existing, some other tournaments are just going to get more value. I think IM Sydney is going to be one of them, and some of the maybe the Gamers 8 tournament seems like it's going to be pretty legit in terms of teams. So Blast Fall Finals are always a big event. Yeah. Always a good event, but also always kind of limited because just 8 teams and partnerships and everything. They cannot be like they cannot be bigger than they are already, right? So
and especially if some upsets happen where like some of the worst, like let's say OG get through to the playoffs of 4 finals immediately, right? For example, and you miss out on. Why are you laughing? Come on, man. Like we know.
You're just making fun of flameZ here for like abusing the.
Well, they were. OG were blast abusers. They were getting.
I love this one. I was happily flying to Denmark all this time.
I bet this guy couldn't get enough of it. He was like, yeah, if I can pump this group stage into my veins, baby, I'll take it every day of the week.
That was actually chill, man. Blast. That was my all tournaments that I attended. Playoffs was Blast and online ESL events, man.
How did you feel when Striker made that article about like OG and Blast?
I didn't give a fuck, man. I was just happy to make semifinals, but I remember how the team felt. But we also had players that didn't give a fuck. They didn't open HLTV.org to read the article. Like they didn't like reading. So I just read briefly the article. I saw how people reacted to it, but we didn't really care. We just made playoffs, and then we were like thinking maybe we can joke back about it. But to be honest, it was fair, right? We attend those events even though we're like top 22, top 17, and there are teams that are much higher caliber that they don't even get the opportunity to qualify there, and they go to Blast Showdown, which is very hard to qualify from because you have so many potential teams that
the single elimination.
Yeah, the single elimination is rough. So yeah, I think it's just fair. It was just fair of an argument, but back then it didn't feel like we were so bad. I think back then that's why we were a little going off on Twitter and so on, because I think some events were good and then the major was just a shit show. But before that we were in Blast semifinal, and I think the RMR was just. We qualified very quick, so we thought to ourselves, maybe, this guy could have been taking the piss a little bit, but I don't remember how I was. I didn't really care. I just liked the game.
How do you like Kakafu? It feels like he hates us.
Kakafu?
Yeah, it feels like he fucking hates us.
Well, who is us, bro?
Well, not like the people. Not maybe not you. The people on the broadcast. Feels like he fucking hates everybody on the broadcast.
Kakafu,
fuck those guys.
He's the chillest dude ever, man. If you sit with him for 10 minutes, you love this guy.
Yeah,
he's super chill, but he just. Because some of the arguments that back then Yanko and I don't remember like who was the people on Twitter, but they were bringing some arguments that they didn't really give they didn't really give the proper argument. They just said, OG paragraph is going down, even though we're like progressing up because we just got degster and the team was like we were a new team and we make the major first time and we make the semis in Blast and things were going like uphill. And then during that time, someone comes on Twitter and says like this team is just going down for the last 2 years, so I think he just doesn't like it, and for fair reasons. But like he's a chill dude. Like if he says something back, it's not because it's his ego. He just really wants to debate it.
Okay, fair enough. While we got you going, because you're fucking on one right now, what team's degster joining? Not degster. Degster.
Australian guy.
Yeah, you must know all the rumors. What team's he joining? Do you know?
I think what makes sense for me in my brain is Greyhound.
Come on, man. I wanted the real answers. Yeah, I don't know where he's going. I don't know.
I have no idea. Actually, if you talked with me 2 weeks ago, man, we could have been sitting here for like 2 hours about leaks. But right now, I have nothing that I know and is exceptional.
Okay.
But it would make sense that he goes back to Greyhound. I think some teams would benefit having him. Like some of the the better teams per se. I think they would benefit having him. I don't think he's so bad. Like I think IGL wise, and at least when I was talking with Xtrfy, it seems like just is the IGL that is less type of a leader and with some right players in the team, like people that take initiative and stuff like that. I think some of these IGLs are very good. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure in terms of how he calls in the game, but I think some teams will benefit him, but I think Greyhound will just be the first bidders, and he will go back to Australia to the main roster.
Okay, all right, that's good because if he goes back to the main roster, I said I'd coach him for free. It all could come together. It's still possible.
So you're hoping for it to happen? Or
yeah, I want to work for free. I need to work for free a little bit more, I think. All right, let's get into some of these Rostermania scenarios. We got an update on the Brazilian scene. Prof, what's happened? Hanshauser's on the bench. Furia said goodbye. It's been an emotional goodbye today. You were getting emotional about the goodbyes.
Bro, someone did like say in chat or in a comment somewhere, is like, Prof, you're a cool guy. You just have to stop being so negative on Twitter. And then I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Then I go and look at my Twitter and I'm just complaining about shit all the time. But it is like, what am I supposed to say when it's just so much annoying bullshit that orgs do that I just have to complain. And it's like, I remember the same thing happened with like Cirque leaving EG. There was just a tweet says, goodbye, Cirque. Like, what does this mean? Like, shouldn't we at least know like what is the status of his contract? Yeah. Is he contracted? Is he a free agent? Is he benched? Like, just at least tell us that. I feel like that is the minimum of information everyone deserves to know. And just saying like goodbye. So what am I supposed to write here? X goodbyes Y. Great. Like
free agent is.
Yes, like how do we update his status like on HLTV? Like you can't.
I think with Shuhi it was like the main thing, right? Like
because they kind of did the same thing where they said goodbye and it was like, okay, I guess he's transferred, but maybe he's not transferred, maybe he isn't. But I guess he was transferred in the end with like a buyback clause, which is fine. We don't need to know all of the details of the contract, but like let me just give us the basics. That's it. That's all for me now.
That's the end of the goodbye. But Safe and Drop are gone, which I think we thought was happening. Hanshauser's on the bench over at Pain. Phelps is apparently joining 00 Nation.
I think that fell through. I think that's not happening.
Oh, okay.
Let me see. I have a.
Is Fallen just joining Furia, and there hasn't been any updates on it because they're just still working through all the like I don't know.
Well, the thing is, like, if they got rid of Safe, then it kind of feels like it must be pretty certain. Like, why would you?
Unless you were getting Zevi and Skulls or something, right?
You know what I should have done? Yeah, keep on your point, and then I'm going to say it.
Yeah, I just want to say, and MIBR seems like they are the drop and Safe's new destination.
For Turtle and who's the other guy?
So it's Insani, Breno, and Exit currently. I can't remember who the.
Who's Turtle and who was the other guy? Why am I forgetting the other guy?
Exit, Brunson, Insani.
Oh, Henny.
Oh yeah,
talking about another
No. We're on the same. What are we going to say, Flames?
That Furia back then when they got rid of like Henny left, right? They should have gotten Stadudo. That would be the best pickup they could have gone.
Stadudo.
Yeah, back then
he was Portuguese player.
Yeah, he was playing for So. He was 1.2 rated player. He just banked phase on a nuke game, 40 bomb. I think Borky was even tweeting that he's cheating or something. I don't even remember what happened then. And then I said, I was thinking, he speaks Portuguese. Possibly, maybe doesn't want to move to NA or like be close to his family. But like, I never heard or saw any leaks concerning that man. And I think he has like this guy is truly gifted. He's like insane player, and I think they missed out.
Seemed like an option, definitely at the time. Instead, they went for Junior, which turned out to be awful. And in the end, Junior is making a comeback. Now he's on EG.
He is.
So.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment. Why do you think Henny is on the bench? Do you think just not producing? They think Safe's better? Because like I feel like they're much of a muchness. Maybe it was a deal to get Drop and Safe from Furia. They want the experience.
What kind of amazing deal is that?
I don't know.
Like it's all of these fucking roster moves in Brazil is like, I don't know, like from.
I just want to know who the fifth's going to be on Furia. That's all I want to know. Just need to know who the fifth's going to be on Furia. Who's joining as the fifth with Fallen? That's what we need to know.
The latest, I guess Cello is one of the rumors, but I guess that could be a big buyout or something. That like maybe that doesn't happen.
Okay.
One of the options was cows, whatever, however it's pronounced, from the academy team. I heard like there was a report on Clutch that said like Venom Zera, who is from Paqueta and has decent ratings.
Okay.
So
could be anybody.
Do you think Insani? I thought maybe money-wise, maybe it doesn't fit them, but I think he's like the best upcomer in Brazil, right? He's 19, 1.22 rated player, man.
He's good.
I think the problem is just maybe like Art and Insani, like both are super aggressive, I guess. So if they want to keep Art, then they don't want to make this change. And I guess you want to keep
Maybe they're
Art
using all the money on Fallen.
The thing is also like keeping 3 players keeps them in the role for the majors and stuff, presumably, right?
This Cologne and this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, fair enough. Anything else we need to talk about with Brazil? Or we good with Brazil?
No, I just feel like most of the changes are kind of meh when you look at it, right? None of it's just like the result is not going to be anything better, I don't feel like, and that just feels like a waste. I think Furia, obviously, if they can get like Cello with Fallen, that seems pretty decent. Even though I'm not
or
a
even
fan.
Vinny.
Yeah, but I don't think Vinny was in any conversations. So
Okay.
I think they played with Vinny as well, right? So
yeah. A couple of years ago, right? Like 2 or 3 years ago now, whatever it was when he used to be on that team. All right, let's get into some of the more broad changes now. Dimitri, if you could bring up the little document we have again, I guess we can start with slide 1. Now, as I mentioned, everybody, I built this today, but Dimitri, he came through and he gave it a sweep. He's tried to make it look much better than what I did. So if there's any mistakes, it's on Dimitri, it's not on me. All right, we'll put the blame there. Now, as you can see here, we've got a nice little color coding system. We've got Dupree with the red around him on the way out. Flames confirmed to be the addition to the team. We want to do this in a bit of a different way. I'm sure we can power rank these at the end if we want, but just going through some of the quick and headliney pros and cons of some of these signings and roster changes.
Everything to kind of finish to do a power ranking because there are still some things
some changes. Yeah, okay. So we can flick through this one pretty quickly. This is a great example to have this one as the first one because we got Flames right here. So
Flames, what do you think are the pros of this move?
Of you joining the team?
I mean, the one that everybody mentioned, it's pretty clear that you're going to have a young core for CS2. I think that this is the main thing that is noticeable.
Okay. Well, that's a nice one to put right there. I would say firepower upgrade.
Yeah, that's fair.
He couldn't say that, so I did. What do you got, Prof?
Are you writing it? I don't see.
No, I'm writing it. Maybe it's not coming up.
Change it to a different color, I think, because it's...
Is it there? Maybe I'll make it white. Maybe I can't write on it. Maybe it's not possible for me to write on it.
Are you in the wrong one or what's happening?
I think I'm in the right one, but maybe I can't. Maybe I can't edit it because it's not my thing. It's
no,
not my
I mean, I see
it.
There we go.
Okay,
you see it now?
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
All right. Young core for CS2, firepower upgrade. What was the next question? The next one?
I wanted to say, what did I want to say? I wanted to say something. I think this is a very like vitality thing, but speaking with
Wait,
Neo,
he was free. That was. I'm gonna put that as well. Sorry,
he was free.
He was free.
I think it also kind of resets the progress of the team, but in a good way. It's kind of a start of a new cycle.
Okay, so that's a pro.
Yeah, I would say that's a pro.
Would you say like reignition of hunger is kind of where you're going with it?
Kind of, but I think this terminology of cycles is something that like Vitality used quite a bit. And when they built a team with International, it's like, this is this cycle is like to win the Paris Major, and they accomplished that. So like, what else do you have to accomplish if you accomplish your mission, right? With a new player, I feel like that's a good thing actually to have. So reigniting the fire, as you said. Okay,
so I'll put restarting cycle. People can follow along. What are the cons? I guess the biggest one would be well, obviously there's a disparity in experience now.
Okay,
so that would be a notable one, right? Disparity in experience. Like the guy won 5 fucking majors.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna write that. The guy won like 5 fucking majors.
It's also a risk, right? That's one of the cons. That Vitality doesn't have any guarantee that, for the org, right? They don't have any guarantee that this is like a project that is gonna work for sure.
Yeah.
So I put that in. I put just 1 major, so equals risk. Do we like that? That kind of works right there.
I think that's kind of the point. You can go on it different ways. Like how's the chemistry in the team going to work? Is that going to change? How is it going to affect different players? I would say maybe you can put on cons, some role or position changes.
Role changes / overlap.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like something is going to happen.
Well, actually, I don't feel like there's role overlap, but there's definitely position overlap.
Position overlap more. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I think you can because another thing that when I was reading this article, and I'm sure Flames, you can attest to this, like even though like someone can play a different position on the map, maybe not an extremity position, but you can be more active in like a central position, that your con guy could be more active than your short guy. Your short guy could be more active than your con guy. It's more going to be your con guy. But like it doesn't always, it's not always the same, right? Within a round, things are going to be different. You're going to be jumping out window. You're going to be pushing underpass. Like a lot of these things that just make it easier for us to define. So these conversations about like the overlap or this person in this position, I feel a lot of that will get ironed out quite quickly. Like once you're in the server and everyone's fucking.
I think right now I don't want to have a comment on that, like on the cons and pros in this thing, but I think just like what people need to remember is that Zio is just a very open-minded guy to play with. So it means that the role clashes are gonna be, I'm not saying it's gonna become a rifler, but I mean that he's very open to play a lot of, like he's just very good at everything he does. So when I look at it from the side, many things could be changed around this guy, because all you need him is in the late round, like mid round, late round, to clutch and play in those 2v2s, and basically you can play around that any way you like, right? Like people, like if I'm the B player on Mirage like Dupree and I say like, look, I have a spawn, I want to go jump mid and rush top middle now because I want to kill.
Zawi goes ops B or something, yeah.
Like he doesn't give a fuck, man. He just goes, yeah, I will B, it's okay. And then he goes up B, and it's okay. And he will kill probably more than me if they come. So I just think from the side it looks like it's not,
not the end of the world. It should be an easy thing. Okay, all right, easy. Well, I guess that's it for Vitality. We keep it moving, Prof?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, cool. Dimitri, let's flick on down. Let's look at Cloud9. Okay, so the pros of the new roster. Now, this one isn't confirmed yet. You can see because it's in yellow. I hope this one happens. I really hope this one happens. Pros. Well, the pros for this one is Electronic and fucking like Electronic and Perfecto are fucking sick.
Yeah, but now you literally have 3 of the top like 8 players in the world of the last 2 years.
Isn't that?
Maybe Electronic didn't have like that great of a last year, but he's there. He's up there.
What's the biggest pro you see with this roster, Flames?
I think possibly them coming might make some players in their team understand that it could be more team based, and because I think when I look at Cloud9, it's against the top teams. Okay, well, people that are playing against them, as long as they don't have ADHD, it's not so hard to win against them. When we play against Cloud9, we lose because we have 4 ADHD players, so we cannot beat them. So when we have when a good team plays against Cloud9, I feel like a lot of the time it's not so hard to just you doesn't do anything. You just like
slow the game down.
Yeah.
Can you expand on this? I know what people mean when they say this, but maybe people at home won't. What does it mean?
It's like people are just baiting. Like that's how it looks, right? If you're a viewer, that people are just baiting and not playing for the rounds. I think when you play them, generally it's very hard because they have op and they have weapons every round, even if they lost one. It's not so easy to play against them. But I think some of the rounds that against FaZe, let's say in the major qualifier in the RMR, like the last chance or whatever it was, they lost 6 buy rounds on not planting the bomb, on time running out, and 15-14 was the same round. So, if I'm looking from the side, I would expect Electronic and Perfecto move to become, more like, they possibly could know how to change the face of the game when it needs to be. I think their style in general, I remember the online era, it was just very hard to figure them out and how they play. And even now, it's not so easy to play against them. They're always title contenders. It feels like they're always like up in the playoff runs, but at some of the games they play against like the very elite teams, I think they need something more to rely on than other, like, to hope that the other team, plays the standard, let's push into them and so on.
Do you think they're like lacking depth in how they can close games or how they can be competitive in matches, right? And these 2 players coming in can add a whole new element.
I think these 2 players that come in might add the element that they can play a new style, sort of. They can, grasp a hold of like how to play aggressive in some rounds and play it good, and how to like sort of play mid round, not always. Because I think generally, or like speaking as I was playing in OG, a lot of the rounds against them, when you look back, and we always lost to them, right? But we look back and it's like, we just don't need to move because they do a lot of stuff, like in the first or the second, like the first sort of the ending of how they play, like the rounds, the last 20 seconds, they're very chaotic, sort of. But I don't feel like it's so hard to play against if people in your team don't do anything. So I think Electronic, like, or at least how they play the old style. I thought with Buster it wasn't such a good move because I thought they needed someone young that can, play like a bit faster CS, or maybe puts new ideas into their brain other than Buster, which I think he sort of has the same, coming from like a Virtus Pro, sort of very similar, like slow passive style. And then but they had the EK in there, right? So I think right now the Cloud9 roster, like the after looks much better for me. That they have some players that have played a different style, sort of maybe the same slow sort of thing, but more like they could teach them how to play more aggressive. Because I think
it adds a killer instinct, maybe. Do you think that's what it could add? Like yeah,
like a killer instinct, maybe just a bit more aggression into their game, which I think if they can do it good, because their individuals are like terrifying, man. Like I think Hobbit is insane. You have Exile. If you if you look at him, how he shoots, it's so instant. Then you have Shiro, which you don't even need to say nothing about him. Now you put Electronic into that mix as an IGL, which was like the highest rated IGL this year, and then Perfecto, which is very good for closing out the rounds. I'm just not sure. Maybe when I look at it now, because I didn't think so much about this roster, but because Perfecto in Navi was pretty much closing out most of the rounds. So then it could clash with some of the other players. But I think either ways looks very good on paper. It looks very good, and I think when I think about it, when you play against them, they might develop a new sort of style or like mix their style with something else, which could look very, very good. And I think it would be better to watch for the fans. I'm not sure how it will look in CS2, but
yeah, it could be. Currently. I think on paper it looks like a very scary team. Prof, you got any pros or cons here?
I mean,
cons are hard to get.
I think someone said in chat, pros con would be Vertigo.
Okay, so map pool. Okay, that's an interesting one. Yeah, that's a good one to point out.
So they kind of lose at least one map that was Cloud9's best map, right?
Yes, yeah, and that's something that I guess and Vertigo has a bit of a cunt of a map as well.
And I also think for me the question is still IGLing. I think that's the con. If this is because it might be nothing in the end, but from these are the latest rumors, it would be Hobbit staying and Nafani going together with Buster. Like IGLing, is Electronic gonna keep doing it?
I would like him to, especially after his Instagram post that he made that about him wanting to be a good in-game leader, right? This was back. This was back with the Navi time though, but like I don't know. Yeah, I think he can do it. He's still young.
cadiaN put a great con in the chat. No one does. Who does the English interviews?
Well, I know Electronic and Perfecto. No, Electronic, Perfecto, and Hobbit can all do them, and Groove. Because every time these guys, they think they're slick, bro. He was gonna join EG. Of course, he can do an English interview. He was gonna join he can speak. They come up every time they see me for the lobby. They're like, I don't speak English. I'm like, I know you speak English.
But I then think that if he speaks English, you can put him. Navi would keep him.
No, he wants to leave. Him and Perfecto want to leave. That's the story, right? They don't want to be anymore. They're fed up of getting abused. They're out. They're done. They've had enough. They've been told enough. It's going to change. There's flowers being bought every day. The fridge is always stocked with their favorite desserts. It's not going to change. They don't want to take it anymore. Flames.
Okay, fair enough then.
They want to go. They want to go play with Axel and Shiro because those two combined are basically simple. So they get it. They've all worked it out.
Big words.
Yeah. And we got Heko as well. She said they don't need to do English interviews. We can just get Heko to do it. It's all good. Okay, so we'll leave. Are we done? We done with Cloud9? Anything else you want to add?
I think that's it, right?
I like it. And yeah, okay, cool. Let's jump to Navi. This one. We're missing a frame here. See, I told you there might be an issue or two. Dimitri's coming. He's cleaned out. But there should be a frame behind Mr. Perfecto. Let me fix it. I'm fixing it, dear.
There is a tweet from Simple.
Yeah, I saw the tweet.
Looking forward to start our bootcamp. Finally, something interesting is going to happen. #Navi Nation.
Now, when I see this team, well, it'd be this team. When I see this, though, I think that I have consumed like absinthe or something, and I'm like having some kind of like trip. Right? Maybe I did some mushrooms. Maybe there's some real psychedelic shit going on. I've been laying there. I've just been like staring at a logo of Navi Nation, just chanting it, saying Simple's name like over and over as I'm doing ayahuasca in some fucking forest. And then this team pops into my head because that's what this feels like. This doesn't feel. This feels like this was made in like fucking Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or some shit.
Someone's telling you this lineup 6 months ago. You would literally.
What is this lineup?
You just walk away. You wouldn't even interact. It doesn't make any sense.
I don't understand.
But it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense.
It makes
like,
all the sense and no sense at the same time.
it's one of the most difficult things I've seen in my life.
Let's do it this way, Flames. This might come back to bite you in the ass, mate. So think very carefully when I ask you this question. Are you scared of this roster?
I think I'll just say politically correct answer here. I think if you always need to put Simple in,
yes,
like you know, Simple is always gonna be in the playoff contender team, like wherever he goes. But I'm not sure how it's gonna look because when Zai went international, he couldn't even get to 1.2 rating, right? So I don't think it looked so good. So I think for the start it's gonna be very rough, like very hard. I think having Alexi, which experienced a lot of international teams in the last like 2-3 years, is good, especially as the leader, as the IGL. JL is always a nice guy and is playing good, and I think IM is a good player. I'm not sure he experienced so much of like international teams other than Game Elision, but I think they all look very good. I think we're just maybe downgrading them a bit because two of their players haven't showed like it was like one tournament which they were good in, but JL performs very well. You know, I think he held his level very high for a long period of time, and then IM is also very good. So then I think it just depends how the two Ukrainian players transitioning into international is going to look like.
Okay, yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah.
But I think the key that I took from what you said there is simple is always dangerous, right? So that's a pro, is that this team still has simple.
Yes.
So that's definitely one of the pros. I would say another pro is you know there was a term, it was just in my head, and it was to do with JL and it was to do with Immer. But it's like currently they have good form. There's a term for this. There's a term. It's a really simple term. It's succinct. Well, yeah, inform pickups. I guess we'll just go with that. That's because that's what Immer and JL are. They both perform very well at the major, right? There's a bit of groundswell, a bit of hype around them, and those are the players that NAVI are picking up. So they're banking on recent form being good enough to carry forward and then being able to replicate this because like it's international teams for JL, Alexi, and Immer now coming into a team with Simple and Bit. Like you're now like you look at Alexi B's trajectory. He's got another great opportunity here with the international team. But there's always something you're like, well, fuck. You've got Blade as the coach, and you got Simple. You got to deal with as the primary piece of the squad. Like, good luck. Like it doesn't. I don't think it's going to be easy for Alexi. I think it's going to be quite difficult for Alexi. Do you think this will be easy, Flames, for someone who's had the experience with Alexi before, for him to be able to in-game lead in a team like this?
From what I heard, Alexi has changed a lot since I was with him. So
okay.
So
is that a good thing?
Yeah, I think it will help him, that change that I heard, at least that he had. Like basically, I heard that he started working very hard for everything that he has. And if he gets that offer, I believe he understands that he needs to work super hard because it looks like at least like there's not going to be many teams if this doesn't work out. That I don't think many teams would want him at like the top 1 orgs. So possibly it could, like when I look at it, it could work because I think Alexi is a good leader at least. Like he understands. He has his own vision about the game, which is good. Now he has Blade to work with, so it's not like it's not like he's alone here. And then, like the only thing I worry in this roster, if I was playing there, is that how is Simple and Bit gonna play the game speaking English? How is it gonna be like? I assume that when the old NAVI roster was playing, communication was like disconnect insta very quick. But I think now you see every international roster, they have issues with communication. Every YouTube video that you see about like orgs that they do vlogs and stuff like that, like everybody has this sort of thing. Like I think EliGE are the only one that show like that if you look outside, their communication looks like insane. But the international teams have a lot of flaws in that, and then it just depends how these two transitions. Simple plays a lot of FPL, played in Liquid for like 2 years.
True.
So possible, like he could already, like he played in Liquid and he was insane player. So I think this guy could, like anywhere you put him, I think he's like just insane. And then Bit, I'm not sure how it will look like. And then JL and IM is just,
fraggers.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I mean, even people are saying, I think the FPL angle versus Team CS is a huge difference because it's one thing is also in-game communication, which is fine, but there is like the out-of-game communication. That's also a huge difference because every team comes with their own kind of way of thinking, way of talking about things. So, and I'm pretty sure, like, we know that NAVI has always been a bit fiery in terms of these things, and it's not even like we can complain, like, criticize it from the outside, but it's also just kind of how they deal with it. That's how their culture is. And I think when you bring a lot of different people together, that takes some time to get used to and to understand, like how do we talk about improving even before improving. Like there's so many steps for Navi now to build that I think cons is like they're going to need a lot of time.
It's entirely new project, right? And I think some of the keys, like we saw with Vitality, when you tried to mesh the Danes with the French, that they tried to like mix the styles together or whatever, and they weren't able to get there, and then they had to work.
Even earlier this year, you could say Vitality's communication was still a problem. I think they said it themselves. Like they would still have moments where they felt like they lost simply because they didn't like communicate.
The game needs to be played in a simpler fashion. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to be as late round or as like hoping that they can pull something off at 20 seconds as much anymore, right? I think that might have to go out the window here. So yeah, the pros, they've still got simple. They have informed pickers of Ima and JL.
I also think like the informed pickups, but also their unproven pickups on tier 1. Like I think that's a con. I think you can say like obviously Ima had a great major, but outside of that, he had nothing. Like he wasn't even like last year, you wouldn't think of him as the star of Gamer Legion or whatever. When they had that run against G2 and playing the major, like he was okay, but nothing crazy, you know. So that's also a con for me. But it's in some way you can see how it works, but it's definitely fucking not a long shot, but a mid-range shot.
It's just weird, right? But it's because I don't think anybody expected this to happen. But yeah, Cloud9 might be the team to profit off of all of this. Okay, happy with Navi?
Yeah, there was a question from cadiaN. cadiaN, yes? He spammed it like 5 times. So
okay, what did he ask? I missed
he asked flameZ if he knew Navi was going internationals and you didn't have the Vitality offer, how would the Navi offer rank?
No one from Israel there, Matt.
cadiaN asked that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think I would rank it like instead of Fudo.
Let's say you didn't have the Vitality one and you had the other ones that you have that you don't want to disclose.
I mean, I would rank it probably third one.
Third.
Yeah, I think there was some, or like no, possibly even more. I think it all depends if like how I like the people and interact with, like, let's say the coach and stuff like that. I don't think it's like this roster specifically. When you look about it, you know, wherever I mix in, if I think I have a roster where people are very open-minded and you can work with them very well, then you have another guy that is just insane, like simple. I think it's very possible to have, and then a coach like Blade, you know, that is rumored to be very good. I think it all depends how I see it fits on paper. If I didn't have talks with nobody and everything, then I think probably second, third, somewhere there. There was some offers that I think people wise it fits me more, and when the people fit me more, I think the product can work better.
Yeah, as you said, no Israeli players on Navi, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, but obviously there was some offers that I think were better than most sports and ends, right? So I would have gone there if I see that it fits more. I think Vitality just fell on the head like a good surprise, but I think that eventually I think some offers were better than both of these teams in terms of like the players and the consistency they've shown, the partner teams, the opportunities to have success. So I think then you have to look at it differently. It's not like I would have joined Israeli player, and that's the only requirement. It's just that I really wanted it to have. It would be a great bonus.
All right, nice. Well, that's good. We got that answer for Mr. cadiaN. Let's jump into our next slide, please, Dimitri. We'll keep it moving. We got Liquid next. So we're looking at Liquid's pros and cons. I put in a con already. Bad for NA fans. They shed many a tears. I am drinking them in my big bottle of water right here, and they're
delicious. Is it sweet or is it salty?
Oh, they are salty and sweet at the same time. What's other pros of this one right here? I'm going to put one down. Cheap. It was cheap. I think Rainwaker would have been very cheap. I don't imagine he would have been too expensive. What other
That's
pros?
a shitty con to have as a pro to have for Liquid.
I don't think you should put it as a pro at least.
But going into CS2, the reason it's good. No, I don't think they're cheap, but I think the fact that they got him for cheap means that if it doesn't work out and going into CS2
okay.
transition, it doesn't matter. It's all good. You didn't sign someone and he fucked up. You signed someone who was pretty cheap and whatever. It's all good. It's not meant to be like a super negative at Liquid. It's just that Rainwaker probably wasn't very expensive.
I think pro is that they're EU centric.
Okay. I like that. EU centric. All right, nice. Cool.
This is a pro from like a development of the team perspective. Like obviously it's shit for NA that they're not NA, but for the players and the teams, just being based in EU is pushing them to develop further.
Yeah, well, and I think
they have insane skill, man.
The team.
Yeah, like I remember I played with Rainwaker for like a while in a sort of a team, and like this guy, I thought he would get the opportunity way before me, Spinks, everybody. Like he was just insane at the game. Like when you play with him, I remember he was just very quiet in the game, but it's what fits players like Yekinder. I feel like when you have a quiet piece that is going to be reliable killing wise, plus he's going to be sometimes initiating right there and there. Because when you have Yekinder in team, I don't think these players need to have so much like talking in game. I think you have a player that sorts a lot of stuff out. He's very in depth with the game and the meta. I think it's very nice to have that. And then I think Patsi is just insane individual, and in spirit he was playing very good. And I think how he played the game, not even how he was shooting, was also very good. So,
do you think Firepower is a pro for the team?
Yeah, like I think, yeah, obviously, because I think you dropped off like the least rated IGL this year, right? Like other than cadiaN probably, or like,
Huxi.
Huxi, yeah. So
Apex.
So Apex is 0.99, so it was like top 4.
Oh,
yeah.
the
highest was Electronic with 1.11. Yeah, I was checking everything.
Someone was doing his research. Okay.
Yeah, but back then I was like, I have a friend of mine which told me a fair argument, which I could probably say it here as well. He told me that in 2 years the game is going to be so high level skill wise that you cannot have a guy that holds you back in terms of like this 0. You cannot have a weakness in the team.
You can't have a bot as an in-game leader, is what you're saying.
Like anything, not only as a bot. You cannot have anyone that is level, like is like average level is just like 0.8, 0.9. That's his argument, which I do agree at some points that like some of the better teams, their IGLs just look way better. With Heroic that they looked consistent. cadiaN is the open. He brings up the number. With Vitality, Apex was playing like one rated almost. I'm not sure like this half of a year, but this season, but he was high rated. I think Snappy was very high rated than I thought it would be, which they did good as well. FaZe did exception. Like they didn't do so good this season, I think, but they had the cadiaN is not so high rated, and then I think it was a surprise for me at least to see that G2 success was like they played very good CS, but I think also Huxi played very good.
But that was also, the tournaments when they did well was when Huxi was like 0.9, 0.95.
Funny that. The guy who calls the shots, if he's playing a little bit better, probably feeling the game a little bit better, and it all goes hand in hand. Who would have thunk? Who would have fucking thunk it? Okay, so we got cheap signing, EU-centric, firepower. Any other positives here for Liquado?
No, I think cons. We can go to cons.
Okay, cons. Ready for
the cons?
Cons
for me is like Patsi recent form.
Okay, Patsi recent form.
Not been
Experience.
Good. Patsi recent form and role overlap, I would say.
Okay.
I think both things.
Well, they're going to have Rainwaker and NAF as their more passive players, and then Yekinder and Patsi as their initiators, and then OC as the supportive doing it all over. But you still think they're like some? You still see some issues?
They're almost the same. Like they're kind of the same player. So someone is going to need to change, like Patsi and Yekinder.
Okay.
That's the thing. Like, it's going to be interesting to see if like Yekinder does like a Hampus.
Yeah, but I think
and then in-game leads as the extremity, or I don't know.
You're talking about T-sides, right?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I think I don't think Yekinder is. So I think he's very flexible, and I think Patsi as well. I think for me, if I look at the cons, maybe less clash, like role-wise and stuff like that. I would just think experience, and you transition 2 players that have never played in international teams to an environment that they play with 2 American players that like Canada and America, so they speak English all their life, and now you're gonna put Patsi, which I'm not sure how he speaks English, but I believe it's good because I played with him in FPLC and it wasn't so bad. Rainwaker speaks English, but it's you transition from playing in a team in your own language, in your native language, to somewhere like different as fuck. like in Vitality with the Danish and French roster, it was just wasn't so good as people thought. You know, on paper it looks good, but the firepower can drop off if communication is bad. And as Prof said, the communication outside the game might not even be a thing.
Okay, so they need to get acclimated to the new conditions. I guess we can put acclimated to new environment. All right, because it's also a big organization now. Like it's going to be a big leap up from what they were getting in Spirit. And we consider how big Liquid is as an org, and it's huge for Rainwaker as well. So to be under this kind of new environment, I guess one of the pros is the lead time they have for the next major, but that goes for all of the teams, I guess. So other than that, I guess that's probably about it for Liquid. Do we want to jump on the next team?
Yeah.
Next team is going to be Complexity. As we know, Fang is the one who got thrown aside for Mr. EliGE coming in. How do we look at this change here? Like, because I think if EliGE comes in and still thinks he can be a star player, that's great. If he thinks he's just here to coast, that's not great.
I think
he brings so much experience, though.
It's hard to almost find a con here.
Okay.
Honestly, like it's a huge firepower and experience upgrade. Like,
I think it has to be a good move.
Yeah,
like it's a good bit. Like when they got him, they did like the best they could. I think. Like
yeah, I can't think of who they could have gotten who would have been a better replacement, like a better player they could have.
I think this is also just like objectively out of all of the changes, the change that is like most directly gonna be good. Like it's like from the worst case scenario to the best case scenario. Like it's so positive.
It's just for me, it's what EliGE thinks his role as a player is now, though. Because he's only 25. If he thinks I'm done now, it's my job to help out the Grims and the Floppies to be the next generation. I don't want to hear that shit. I think EliGE can still be fucking sick.
I don't see why that would happen. I honestly think it's like, I think it's the inverse of that. It's like, fuck this, you Kindart guy. Now I'm going to be back to playing my own game. I think that's
a good way to look at it.
I think that's what EliGE is going to be in Complexity, and then. I think that's maybe the only con is that maybe he can disrupt something. Can't he disrupt Grim in some way? Like that is the only con that I can see.
Okay,
like,
so Grim EliGE relationship.
Yeah, how is that going to work out? Because I don't think like in game the role overlap is that big. Like they should just set up them two as the main 2 stars, and then 100%. Everyone else should just work around it. And I think like JT and Floppy can anchor, and Halls are copying. I think it just makes sense. I don't think it's any big issue, but like that's the only problem I can see in this team.
Okay, all right. You got anything, Flames? You got anything you want to add here?
Nothing.
All right, simple. That one's nice. And then finally, the last one will go down to EG.
Man.
Oh, what do you mean? You don't want to do EG?
No, I want to do EG. I wanna be the main guy EG. I wanna be you in EG. Man, it's. I think first of all, who is the coach? It's
Axed.
Oh, well, he's gonna be Axed soon.
Axed is their coach.
Okay, I have no idea. Okay, so
I think 4 of them got a promotion from EG Black.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so I don't know this current roster, like how are the players in the team. I think Automatic is great, but I think if you see the cons, I think it's just that as an organization, EG could probably be getting a roster that is exciting.
Okay, so like not living up to organization hype.
Yeah, it's like so many rumors as well, like with Jax and
Electronic, Zorti. That was fucking sick. Yeah.
But I do believe that was the direct. I don't know what dropped off, or maybe EG. I assume that them staying in America benefits all the ESL and Blast and like this kind of people, which is.
I don't think they have that deal anymore. I don't think it's so? In there that they. From what I've heard, I don't think they have to be in America for a certain period of time anymore. I don't think they get the benefits of that. I think that's done now.
But you think might be with the sponsors though, right? Like
that's always the key one. Yeah,
because then you think to yourself it makes sense, but the roster, I think they could have like. I think the other pieces on HLTV, it looked good. Like I'm not sure this roster could be also good. I'm not sure how the players are, but I think they could have just made a way better roster.
Well, I think it's good for NA, right? And NA players, I guess, to know that there's still an avenue to get on a team like this or a Complexity, because this is everybody's from North America, right? You've got Automatic, you've got Junior, Walco in there, you've got some Hex, and then you've got Mr. George Snorts, just known as George now. He dropped the snorts, keeping things out of his nose. That's probably a good thing. So it's good for NA, and it's good to see what some of these players have, because they're trying to grind up and do it in that fashion, right? So I think that's a positive to see them embracing a full team. But I agree with you in the sense that when you see so many of those big names that they were throwing around, it would have been another just menagerie of a roster. It would have been another like, what the fuck is this, and how did this even come together? But it would have been exciting names and get to see them how they could mesh.
Yeah, I think what Valen said in an interview is essentially it was like two routes. Either they get like one of these Frankenstein rosters, where they get like a lot of different European parts, or like when they couldn't get Zorti because of like complications of buying a player from Russia or whatever, and some other like electronic dropped out and whatever, then they are like, okay, then we're just gonna do our simple NA thing, which I don't
this more.
I don't like this.
I think this. I think they can use Breeze's salary to pay for the whole team.
I can't. Well, that's fine, but like,
oh, it's cheap. I'm gonna put that one again. I like that one.
He's a budget hunter here.
It's like, but it's organization ambitions though. Like, do they want to make major?
Like, how can you let another transfer period where like so many moves are happening go by without you doing anything? Like, this is like, how do you go for Zorti for like 2-3 weeks and then realize, oh, actually we can't pull it off? Like, how?
Well, they saw the success in Valorant and they want to follow the model.
This is the Kassad moment. Who is responsible for this? Fired. But it's true. Like, how is this a thing? Like, you need to know what is possible, what is not possible, and not be like baited into like, oh, I'm gonna get, fucking, I don't know, I'm gonna go date Taylor Swift. Like, you're not. She doesn't know who you are, bro. Just chill out and go on Tinder and see what's available right now.
It's not Taylor Swift. That's what Prof is saying.
She's not on Taylor.
It's not Taylor Swift.
And if someone's called Taylor Swift and has Taylor Swift, it's probably bait. So don't fall for it.
I thought they had all the Monte, Game Religion, and Apex players to just pick up from. I thought Falcons took Boros and MHL, but I thought EG are gonna be. I would expect them to be high bidders and take the ones that they can't. But I guess what you said happened. They couldn't. They didn't get what they wanted, and then it fell off, and then they decided to stick with what they can build. But I'm not sure if what they're aiming to is to make majors and like.
It's easier now that Liquid's not there, right? I know they also have a region, but
it's kind of the same, right?
Yeah, true.
Okay, fair enough. I think the Brazilian rosters, their shuffles, they're gonna. Like, I don't know how it will look like, but if it's slightly better and improving more of the Brazilian rosters, I think they would have the hard time to just make even the major from NA region.
Yeah,
which should be easy on paper.
Well, I'm just looking at this because everybody, like a lot of the North Americans got up in arms when Liquid moved away from the American core. These guys have a completely American team and they're a big organization. So I guess this could be the new hope, but they're not going to be as competitive. Hopefully they can grow, like we can see them and they can go through that arc of, some young players from a region getting experience and showing that they're young and they are hungry and they're not just there to cash checks. Because that's one of the things, that's one of the biggest stigmas that's been around North American Counter-Strike for too long is people just get complacent. They're not hungry. They're just there for like the paycheck, right? And I know that people need to live and keep the power on, but this is like a high tier competitive pursuit. It's not, you shouldn't just be given money because you want to be a professional Counter-Strike player. That's not how professional Counter-Strike works. You actually have to be good. Like, results are part and parcel of that, right? So I hope that they can at least get something done, because if we keep having EG coming last in these partner leagues, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. The world might end. Who the fuck knows? Okay, well, we didn't do Mouse. Maybe we do Mouse in the future once we know their roster. There's still some more changes. Obviously, Game EliGE need to change. Apex are adding Kakanito or something. What'd you hear, Prof?
That's Anito, I think. I watched Fraber stream, and he was playing against Shui, Cyclone, Torji, and Jimpat.
They don't give a fuck, man.
Okay, so Jimpat joining Mouse. That's great. Okay, he's going to be replacing JDC. That's pretty much confirmed. There you go. Cool. Someone was like, "Oh, I hope this JDC move means we get to see degster stay in the team and just get to play as a rifler." I was like, it'd be kind of cool to see Chris just get to rifle and not have to call and stuff, but I don't figure there's a way that happens. It's Sergey's little brother, right? That's this Jimpat kid.
Yeah.
But Sergey had a crack, and his parents were like, "Well, I guess we'll try again, shall we?
We'll do better the next time.
We got a 16-year-old. We'll give it another go." So they're giving it another go. I don't know. I would have to watch a bit of the kid. So is he sick, Flames?
Jimpat?
Yeah.
I think when he joined Mouse Sports with Exertion and these guys, I don't think it was so good. Like, when we practiced against them, I don't think it was like any threatening piece. But when they left and Mouse made the new NXT, I think he was so good, man. It was. I think he's like brilliant at the game. Like in some terms, like shooting wise, obviously he's up there, but I think he's just very good. And now he's only 16 or 17 or 18.
He's 16,
like
16, I think.
yeah. So it's this guy. I think he was very good. I'm not sure how he mixes in with more voices. So you're gonna go to a team with bigger voices now. Shuhi is like a big voice. I assume, like I think I know that he's a big voice. Xertion is a big voice. Frozen, I'm not sure what's his status, but you would assume that he has a big voice on what's happening. And then torzsi, I think, is just a chilling piece. He doesn't really care about how.
Well, they're trying to replace him with your boy degster, aren't they? So wasn't that one of the rumors? There was like him degster to Fnatic or to Mouse.
Like
wasn't
the
that a
OG
rumor?
player?
Yeah. It's like a rumor like a day ago.
I doubt Mouse will invest. I doubt like that much, because I think getting Shuri back should be, if there is a buyout clause or whatever, should be cheaper. But I know that degster is good, right? But like I'm not sure if, like, I think overall, if you check his statistic, he's like a top 6, top 5 upper, and then I doubt, and I would assume it's more than $100,000. So then I don't know if they will get him, but I think if they get him, it's gonna, it's a very threatening roster. But I think even with torzsi, I think it's a good roster. I think degster would definitely be.
Do you wanna role playtime through some questions?
Yeah, sure. Why not? We're at that point of the show. All right,
I have one too.
We don't even have a playtime thing. So Dimitri, we don't. Do we have to play it? Can we just talk? Can we just talk?
Let's just talk.
We're in playtime right now.
If degster is top 5, top 6 hopper, why is he benched on OG?
Well, I'm not sure, because I wasn't part of this decision as well. Like I basically told OG I'm gonna explore elsewhere, and they sort of got me that. I would assume if I'm outside and I'm looking on it, or like even right now looking on it, I think that when we played with Rigali, it was very good. So I think they were okay with like getting him as a permanent piece. And then I would assume that OG probably thought, and I assume degster also has offers, right, that it would be getting sold out very quick. Or maybe it goes to Mousesports eventually, right? But if you look statistic-wise, I'm not sure how it was in the last season, but I don't think, if you take it into context, like it was OG best player and the team was going downhill and it wasn't so good. Like I think OG would just be more focusing on, like I think that the direction they took after Valda and Nico was like, developing talent and going as a younger team, even though degster is just 20 or 21. But yeah, degster is definitely good. Like you see, the number he puts and the rounds he gives you, having that kind of player in the team is just, sometimes it's just very easy to play around it. I think I would assume that they probably think that there is gonna be someone that wants to buy him, that he's gonna go to. I assume there is many offers for him, but unless, like, from knowing degster, he's a guy that wants to win. So even if someone knocks at the door and tells him, "Yo, you're gonna get like a very high salary," but that's the roster, and he's not gonna be so convinced on the roster, he's not gonna go there because he wants to win. He wants to be like in a shiny spot in terms of his team. So I think also you probably need to consider that in the context. Like probably a lot of people want him, but he's not gonna go for that if the roster doesn't look promising for him.
Doesn't want to waste his time.
Kind of like what you did essentially is like, but you
Stop
were
the market.
Yeah, you're like, I want to go somewhere where I can win trophies, but you had the benefit of being free, and therefore much easier to get into a team.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the tweet that was made. Prof, do you have any other off the tippy toppy tongue around there?
Do you have something that you like?
There was one here that says Israeli super team. Who is he picking? Your brother or Anarchas? I assume for the AWPing role.
Oh,
if you would play like
let's just say yourself. So it's your brother or Anarchas here.
World Cup of some sort, and you're the captain. Who are you picking?
I think I'm very biased in this, obviously, but obviously I think I would go with Shushan.
Who would have thought?
Many of
He's
the
a
time,
good brother.
But I can tell you why I think that. I think Anarchas is very good, but the thing is, when I look at this roster, I think that Shushan could probably support an IGL better than what Anarchas can. And in this roster, you look at NertZ, Xertion, Spinks, and me. So you basically get players that have played like star roles. They're very vocal, and then Shushan is also very vocal. But he knows how to play sort of the passive department, which I think Anarchist is like aggressive, which is also, it benefits you in some spots. In, let's say on T sides, you know, some players might bait a little bit, and Anarchist is not going to be that guy. But also Shushan, yeah, I'm very biased. I think it's obvious. I think Anarchist is very, I think they're both very good. But I think just into context overall, like Shushan is more involved in like the Israeli scene, and Anarchist is less coming, you know, to TeamSpeak, to meetups, and so I think with Shushan is just a matter of he's like a better friend of the players, and he's my big brother. And then you have Anarchist that is less friends with us. He's still like in okay. I think Shushan. Yeah, I'll just go with Shushan.
All right.
There you go.
All right, we got it out of him. What else we got here? Top 3 entry fraggers at the moment.
Oh.
Overall?
Without yourself. Let's not put yourself.
What's an entry fragger nowadays, man? Like,
yeah, well, you define it. What do you want? What do you want it to be? Who do you like watching?
So let's say like room takers, I assume.
Yeah, space takers. Taking some risks.
So I think you have to go with Nico. Somewhere in the top 3. I'm not gonna rank it exactly right. I think Nico. Then I would say, yeah, I think Nico, and then who was the guy, man? I forgot. There was someone that I thought about that. It was Yekindar, yeah, Yekindar that is also there. And then I think then Staven is probably instead, like, you know, like heroic, like Tessus is also good in some maps, but I saw some maps that Staven is like he played there, or maybe it was in the past. I haven't watched heroic in a long time. But whoever heroic is, and then Rain. I think so. I think Nico, Yekindar, and then I would go for Rain / whoever heroic has on their spots.
Okay. All right. We got another good one here. Someone asking how you're going to deal with the mandatory military service, and he's asking like for Spinks as well. We would imagine it would clash with you playing practicing out.
Like the military service in Israel. No, but we're far behind that. I'm not going to explain so much about what happened, but it's not going to be issues. Yeah, there's not going to be a problem.
Okay, nice.
All right.
There's a question. I don't remember this. Maybe I'm blanking now. But the question was, did the Ninja Diffuse of ESIC have anything to do with Nexa going on a hiatus for the next 3 years?
Yeah, I read that one as well. I was like, what?
I can't remember this Ninja Diffuse at all.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. We played FaZe Clan in Blast, and we start coming back, I think. We start winning some rounds. It was like 8-4 Ancient. And then ESIC and Borky go from City. You remember when Ancient was updated? It was in the player break, and I had no idea that I need to run away from the bomb, right? And then we play some practices, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening, man? I die. So then we know that we need to run away, and we need to do it like 10 seconds before the time the pop, right? And because Ancient A site is so like it's so fast to go diffuse because the site is very small, and the city connection, like where you can hide, is very fast to the A site on Ancient. So basically, if Borky and ESIC just go out and diffuse, man, and like I only have bad memories from Donut and A-side diffusers, man. I also had another one with Hobbit that he diffused on 15-14 against us with Nearfog and Dexter alive, and since then, man, I was thinking maybe we should go nuke. Fuck this map, man. Like, this Donut shit, man. Fucking.
Well, you will with Vitality. You won't be playing any Ancient, right?
Oh yeah, sure. Or maybe like.
Oh shit! Yeah. Oh, so too much. Sure, they're training him well already. All right, sweet. Prof, you got anything else there for Flames?
There's a question for everyone.
Okay.
What's your favorite drink?
Drink? I only drink water. I only drink water, but if they ask alcohol-wise, I don't really drink alcohol, but when I was like drinking it a little bit, I think it was whiskey with cola, and I think Config was the guy. Like that's the only thing I tried, I think.
You didn't do this on purpose, I promise.
That's going to be great for the forums.
Coca-Cola? You call it Coca-Cola?
No. The config and alcohol
and the whiskey.
Same.
Okay. No, I was in Denmark. It was online, and then he was like, "You should try J and Coke," like with this Danish accent. I said, "Okay, give it." I tried. I drank it, but the only time I got drunk was in my brother's wedding, and then that's it. I never drink other than that. What I would say that the one that tastes the best for me is I think it's like a grape juice, probably you call it, like
grape juice.
Yeah, grape juice. I really like it.
Okay, all right. So water and some Jack and Coke. All right. I like water as well, Prof, and coffee. That's what I got. What's on your list?
Yeah, I didn't really take you as a coffee enjoyer.
I love good coffee.
What's the name of that coffee guy? James Hoffman or something?
No.
No, you
I
don't.
don't. I don't. What? No.
I think he has a pretty nice voice, like old British dude, like pretty good videos.
He loves
to
the
watch.
coffee, does he?
He does. He loves the
I'll have
brew.
to check him out. What are you consuming?
I enjoy a water. I've been on a wine diet for a while.
Oh, okay.
Vodka Red Bull as well, man. You like that one, right?
Oh no, I don't like Red Bull.
It gives you wings.
I don't like any energy drinks actually. I'm not really a fan of that. So, but I like any cocktail. Like I had this cocktail phase. Like I was making some at home. I need to get back into that.
Okay, nice. All right. I guess we got anything else? We're pretty good. It's been a good episode. It's been a fun episode. Flames, you want to say anything to people at home? You want to say hi to anybody? You want to tell Patsi that you beat him in the next pug or something that you guys queue?
Yes. No. I have. Wait. How does it work, by the way? Like, let's say we close. Do you close the stream instantly?
Well, you want to get hosted? You're going to stream?
I want my brothers to get hosted.
Yeah, we can host him for you. That's fine.
So
is he streaming right now?
Let me check.
Yeah, he's watching. He's watching us right now. I can find him right here. Yeah,
Wait,
I found.
I sent it on TeamSpeak.
Yeah, so once we finish, Dimitri can host our stream.
Business. Perfect, Dimitri. Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. So that's all you wanted to say. You don't want to say anything else?
I have nothing. I think project is going to be exciting in Vitality. I'll just say that.
Okay, one question for the end. What is your personal goals in terms of development? Obviously, you want to lift trophies and stuff like that. But as a player, what are you looking for, like developing in yourself?
Mostly, it's going to be that I try to become more disciplined as a player as well. That I can go back to being from aggressive to a little more passive. But I think generally I just want to develop my like how I see the game. In OG we played a lot of strats, a lot of like execute. I was B side I go out first, A side I go out first, and there wasn't so much learning process in that. So I think with Vitality now, I think some more defaults are going to be mixed, at least than what we had in OG. I think it's developing like how I envision the game to be, how the pieces can work around me. But yeah, it's mostly like I want to discipline myself in the game. That's the thing that I think will improve it the most right now. That's sort of it. Like in Vitality, there is some things that I need to work on a lot, which is going to be like if there is going to be new roles and stuff like that, and I want to stand up to the occasion and be very quick with it and very efficient with it. So I'm gonna just I don't know. I just play CS, man, and I think it works out if you do the correct things outside of it.
Cool, nice. All right, sweet. Well, I guess that's us, Prof. Are we doing another episode next week?
We should.
We gotta pick a day.
Maybe Tuesday. What do you think about Tuesday?
Yeah, that works for me. Any day of the week. I'm free. I'm not doing anything. Just losing faces.
Like going out with the friends, man.
Yeah, well, man, what I do is I get up and I lose face at games, then I do podcasts. That's my life. Just giving away ELO to everybody out there. All right. Well, that's another episode of HLTV Confirmed. Thank you for joining us, Flame. It's been fun. You're always a lovely personality to talk to. And it's always great to chit chat. So we've learned a lot tonight. We went over some of the changes again. We've gone over the recent news. We spoke about Flames and the Vitality move. And quick shout out to our sponsors one more time, BitSkins, Steel Series, and 22Bet. That's another episode of HLTV Confirmed. Thank you for Dimitri filling in for Lucas for this week. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Finally, I found what I was looking for. Now that my search is over, it's gonna be a tough choice. But fortunately, no need to choose. When you can just have them all. Buy and sell skins on BitSkins.com.
Best esports odds. VIP program and a variety of bonuses. Fast and easy withdrawals. Bet on every possible CSGO match and tournament, as well as any other esports game. Only on 22Bet.
Here's a good vibe, trend, 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 trend. Here's a good vibe, trend, 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 trend. Here's a good vibe, trend, 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 trend. Good vibe, trend, trend.